Hello, Internet, and welcome to Rough Drafts Competes, the fifth pay-per-view of our Journey of Wrestling competition. It has been quite the set of weeklies since the last time that we were live, which luckily I have my microphone actually on this time, which should make for a better viewing performance for those of you checking this out. But man, oh man, were there some controversies perhaps in our scoring for this particular weekly, the main beneficiary of which is my good friend Xander. Say hi to the nice people at home, Xander.
Hi to the nice people at home, Xander.
Yes, that is, look, I appreciate your inner animaniac with that particular repetition scheme. I want to say that I'm happy for you. I really do. Because I thought you had a great card to close out the weeklies. It seemed a little high, and mine seemed a little low. But until...
Skill issue.
It would appear so. Until we get confirmation from the developer that there's not something we're missing. We're not going to rescore any cards. I'm not going to take my ball and go home. The ball lies where it lies. And unfortunately for me, that means Xander got a full point in our standings since the last pay-per-view. That puts me at 4, Xander at 3, Eduardo at 1, and Walter at half a point. But every pay-per-view is a new opportunity to claim a title and a point for yourself. And Eduardo certainly very much hoping to do so today. How are you doing, Eduardo?
I'm doing alright. I will do a lot better after I win tonight, but yeah.
I do imagine that would help. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be quite the show. As usual, we are going to start with Eduardo because there's this amazing thing called time zones. And it means that if you're from, I don't know, Chile, it's a lot later when we start these streams than it is for those of us here on the West Coast, where I imagine most of the people who care enough to watch this probably are, given that you're very likely, at least tangentially related to the friend group that I've built here. But, Eduardo, given that Walter is not here, and therefore I do not have to introduce him yet, let's jump into your show. What can people expect at Starlight, presented by the Campeonato de Lucha Sur?
It will be a hell of a pay-per-view, honestly. As some will say, making something equipable to this level of production is like chasing a Starlight. It's just not happening. We have the highest level of production in the set right now. We're gonna pull it off with a lot of very interesting matches, especially our specialties. You know, the tables, the ladders, the street fights. We're throwing everything, even the kitchen sink, at each other tonight.
Yes, and I can't wait to see how it all plays off. You've got some feuds that are being blown off, a lot of big moments coming our way, so let's just jump on into Starlight. And look at that poster. What a nice poster that the fans can enjoy here. As always, we're not going to worry about what the wrestling spectator has to say. Who cares what their predictions are? What matters is what happens in the ring. And that is certainly where we are going tonight. So we start with a interesting. I don't think this was originally the match we planned to start the night with, Eduardo. It looks like your card may have gone a little out of order.
I don't think this was, but hey, being screwed by this game is part of the menu right now, so...
I don't know how that happened, because you and I just made this card, and we pretty much just checked over it, but okay. Tell us about this six-way teddy bear on a pole match that is apparently starting.
I mean, this is the especialidad de la casa, you know, it's the teddy bear on a pole match, a match that has like an honorary tradition ever since it was established, I think 4 months ago. It's here to stay. It's a very cool match, and we're gonna see some very strong contenders such as Suki Kiyama, Hailey, Ivy Chavez, and Violeta, of course, aiming for this teddy bear.
Absolutely. I mean, you look, there are three who are kind of the top tier performers, right? Violeta, Suki Akiyama, Hailey, all over with the fans, all above 900 popularity. I think fans would go in expecting one of these three to win, but of course you look at Ivy Chavez, and Ivy is hungry for a win, and CC Cruz would certainly appreciate one as well if she's going to be as dominant as her gimmick would make her out to be. Xander, looking at our 6 competitors here, who are you giving the nod to?
All right, well, let's be real, all right? There's a lot of talent here, okay? I like Haley, I like Suki, I like Violetta, I like Ivy. All right, Ashlyn and Cece, okay. But if I'm choosing here, I'm very likely giving it to Haley. Okay, I think Haley is someone that you can move all the way up the card to the tippity top. And giving them a win here would be pretty crucial for doing that. I can also, of course, see a win going over to Ivy. I've rooted for Ivy before. You know, I know she's only 750, but giving her a win here could be pretty massive. She's getting close to that overness. She's 1-6. Giving her a win would be huge. This might alone propel her into that main event status and get her close to being over. But again, if I've got to pick a favorite, a single one to win here tonight, it's going to be Haley.
Yeah, I like Haley as well because I love a 19-year-old 4-4 heel with such a bright future ahead. Eduardo, are we correct?
Yes, you are. We're all on the same league.
Oh my gosh.
Haley.
And
Everybody benefits.
Everybody benefits. That's a 5-star match. That's a hot match. Nice experience for your pole match in the future. And Haley, I mean, she's not quite at 1,000 yet, but with another big win like that, don't be surprised if you see her in some face of the company conversations. But I think the big thing, right, is just everybody got lifted up here. Everyone got at least a little bit of overness, which I think is big. And we'll have to see what you can run with it, but a very good start to the night. And yeah, okay, this was originally your second match, so I don't know what's happening with the order, but we're just going to roll with it. Tell us about this, what should be a blow-off match between Pink Arrow and Juno Ripshaw.
Yeah, no, they've been feeling at this for a while, and this is going to be it. You know, the final say on this matter. Who's going to take all the glory between these two very strong contenders and kind of have blood in the eye for each other. Pink Arrow and Juno Ripshaw, two extremely talented wrestlers, by the way.
Absolutely. I mean, no doubt the talent here is strong. I mean, you're looking at 2 4-4s, Xander, so they can't go by at least pure work and charisma stats. Who do you think should get the nod here in this blow-off match?
I mean, it's the blow-off, right? It's the last one, and I like the idea of giving it to Juno. Juno taken 3 losses in her last 3 matches. Pink Arrow's gotten a win. Again, I think that there's more of a danger of Juno losing her main event status than Pink Arrow, gaining it at the expense of Juno. And if the match is good, both of them end up with it. I personally like to give it to Juno here. Give her the dub. Give her the win.
Okay. Now, see, here's the thing. I like Pink Arrow in this match because I like getting a face like Pink Arrow as a main eventer. I think that is a very helpful tool to have when we saw so many high-profile heels in that last match. But it is ultimately Eduardo's call. Eduardo, who do you think? Or who are you picking, I should say? It is your call, so there's no thinking involved. Yeah, who are you picking?
As I have famously said in the past, it's not going to happen. Pink Arrow is going to take the win, and Juno Ripshaw is still going to be a main eventer.
Let's see. I have clicked the Pink Arrow button. The game agrees, and at least it blew off the feud, so at least that worked out. That is a popularity boost for Pink Arrow. That does put her in a main eventer. Juno Ripshaw does get a benefit from this, even if losing a feud, which is hard to do. Says a lot about the quality of this hot match. Certainly, that gives us a level up for the submission match and for the main event ready feuds. So they're all going to be a little bit more popular just from the start, which is a nice bonus. And you unlocked the loser leaves match, Eduardo. So that's something that you can have in your back pocket. Perhaps if you ever have an unhappy wrestler like Xander and I have had the misfortune to have, it will go a long way for you. But for now, you'll just have to settle with Pink Arrow getting a huge boost up the card and a 4.75 match for an opener. Not too shabby. So now we go to Jordan Mir versus Adriano Ciccelli in the Campionato Antu Championship. Tell us how this feud has really played out so far.
Yeah, no, so far, Jordan Amir has become the #1 contender for this title, and Adriano Ciccelli has managed to hold on to it. And pulled off some impressive performances while holding the guitar. But Jordan Amir is still wants it, really wants it. He's a phantom executionist, and he's going to try to prove that he can be a title holder.
Absolutely. And I mean, everyone knows that Adriano Ciccelli, he's on a 5-win streak, really been great at defending this title. But Jordan Amir had an incredible feud with Daiwick Damerla that the fans are not going to forget anytime soon. That certainly propelled him up the card as well. Xander, between these two, who do you think deserves the win?
I think that Adriano Ciccelli has the most upside here, for the reason being that he could make the face of the company status off a one good win, and just continue carrying this. I see the argument for Jordan Amir taking it in the last, as Adriano's held it for a while. But I think give Adriano the push into the face of the company status before you take it off him. So that's just my thoughts on this, especially in a tables match.
That's a very interesting take. I do like Adriano a lot, and I think if you plan on making him a face of the company, he needs to win here. But Eduardo, if my notes are correct, I believe you have other plans.
Yeah, no, Jordan Amir is going to take the win.
And he sure does. And look at that. The interesting story boost tells he's clearly, Eduardo, you're the better storyteller in this match, at least, than what Xander and I had in mind, at least according to the fans. Big fans of that near 6-star match. Oh, by the way, Jordan Amir now 10 points away from being a face of the company in his own right. And sure, Adriano's a little sad losing the title, but he had morale to spare, and the boost for Jordan Amir is certainly well worth it. And look at that, your first holy shit moment of the night. Jordan Amir was about to hit the finisher before they both collapsed from exhaustion. A nice 30 points. Very nice to see. And, the Campeonato Antu, I'm kind of surprised because Adriano, he'd had it for a couple months now. It wasn't a short reign, but the game did seem to think it wasn't long enough. That said, with a quality champion and a match that good, you're still getting a positive for the belt. And if you build Jordan Amir up, that belt's going to be silver sooner rather than later. So we will see what Jordan Amir does with it next time around. But a big win for him at Starlight tonight. And now we get... Okay, I don't know what the game did to the order of this card, because it started feeling like it was making sense again, and then no. We're skipping matches once again. It is a big match, though, and one that's very exciting to see. Tell us about this One Step Closer match, Eduardo.
Yeah, for the folks at home that maybe are not familiar, this is basically a Battle Royale style match. Everyone wrestler enters, and the last man standing, the last one to get eliminated, gets a title shot in the next pay-per-view. So yeah, basically everyone's in trying to get the best of the situation and get this so seeked after title shot. There's a lot of familiar faces, a lot of talent here. You will notice people such as Eagle, Christopher Knox, Jason Cortez, Chacal Pro, Ametralladora Anderson, of course, and Sigmund Coolidge, and they all are gonna be hungry for this title.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many great names in here. I'm sure fans are looking at Isamu Masucci, who at one point was the title holder for your main men's belt, as clearly a competitor who would love to get back in that ring. I mean, Xander, obviously it's hard when you've got 31 names in front of you. But
listen, I'm gonna let you finish, okay? But I've rooted for this person every time I've seen them, and I'm not gonna stop today. Chacal Pro. I hope Chacal wins it. I don't care that Isamu is probably better, that Jack Azrael is good. You got Kyle Cage. I know you got Razor Jackson in here. Chacal Pro. It's going to Chacal Pro. If it's not going to Chacal Pro, then I'm not happy, and that's that.
Well, I am concerned that Xander may not be happy. But unfortunately, it comes down to there was a feud that I think definitely shaped the way that this went. Eduardo, who won, and what does this win mean for them?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just take every opportunity you get to deliver such a great storyline. And two people here have been very advancing their storyline, and those people are Ametralladora Anderson. Sorry, I drew a blank there. But yeah, he's gonna finish his feud here tonight.
Liam Draco was
versus Liam Draco, of course, the fighter.
But Ametralladora, this is his night. That's why he's the one you remember.
Yeah, the machine gun's gonna take it.
4 3/4 stars, but a huge win for Ametralladora. That is going to propel him further up the card by a substantial margin. It's going to make some feuds hot, too. Razor Jackson Kenneth King goes hot, and Razor Jackson goes over with the fans, which is huge. And the Constellation versus Here and Now, which the game is incorrectly calling No and Ryota because it didn't properly accept a gimmick name a while back. Huge feud now between the two of them in their tag division. So it's great to see. It's great to see the One Step Closer match get some love and build up some hype with this contract that will be paid off next month, as Ametralladora will have a title match. Has he announced what title he's aiming for, or is that still to be determined?
No, he's gonna keep it as a surprise until today.
Okay, we will have to stay tuned then to see what he has in mind. But we move on to the Toki Championship, which is El Cuervo versus Conrad Supernova. I mean, obviously everyone knows that El Cuervo just came back from an injury. But this feud with Conrad Supernova, I believe, is relatively new. So how did this come together?
Yeah, basically Conrad Supernova has been showing time and time again that he's been all over the opposition. He's defended his title, I think, 5 times right now. And he's been the Toki champion for 4 months. Eagle just came back from his injury and says, you know what, your reign ends today. I'm going to take it from your hands. So we're going to see who'll be our Toki champion after today.
Well, Xander, you've got 2 incredible competitors in El Cuervo and Conrad. Conrad, as Eduardo said, defending after 4 months of the title. Do you think that's enough to keep off El Cuervo, or do we have a title change tonight?
I think it's a title change tonight. I think El Cuervo is going to bring it home.
Okay. You believe in El Cuervo. I believe in El Cuervo. Do you believe in El Cuervo, Eduardo?
Yeah, I do believe in El Cuervo. He's going to be our next face of the company.
And look at that. What a win here. And it's a near 6-star match. Your second near 6-star match of the night, which you love to see. Huge morale boost for El Cuervo after everything he went through with his injury. Obviously, it's a feel-good moment for the fans. It's hard sometimes if you're a fan, right? He's a heel, so you're supposed to boo, but he's overcome an injury, so I can't help but cheer. Conrad takes a little bit of a morale hit and a popularity hit, but he'll be back, I am sure, on his way to being a face of the company, indeed. Eclipse, seeing their leader lose a title is a bit of a hit, but Toki Championship with a new title, that's a nice boost. I don't believe El Cuervo is in a faction himself, so nothing else to check out here, but certainly a big win for him, and we will see how El Cuervo maintains his path to become the next face of the Campeonato de Luchasaur. And here we go, a match we thought would start the night. It is the Guardianes de Pucara Masculino Championships, a steel cage match between the Hiroshima Hotties, the former champions, and the Corazones de Lucha, who dethroned them at the last pay-per-view. Eduardo, what can people expect from these two teams in this match?
Yeah, these are 2 stellar tag teams. They've been fighting all over the place, and now they're gonna take it to the steel cage, the classic for this Guardianes del Pucara Championship. The Hiroshima Hotties looked unbeatable at one point, until they finally got beaten by Corazones de Lucha, who took the title from them. We're gonna see if they can retain, or if Hiroshima Hotties will take back their title.
Yeah, Xander, who do you take to win this match?
Oof. Well, considering this is supposed to be the first match of the night, I think Corazones de Lucha maintain their belt. They keep it going here. They keep it running. They build the belt up a little bit more, and maybe Hiroshima Hotties can come back later on.
Yeah, I also agree with you. I know it's a bronze title, so a quick changeover doesn't hurt as much as it might for a gold belt. But I think you keep it on the Corazones. Do you agree with us, Eduardo?
Yeah, the Corazones will retain today.
And what a big win that is. Another near 6-star match, your third hype match of the night. Look at the overness boost for the Corazones de Lucha. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see. Hiroshima Hotties, of course, propelling themselves to the main event and also getting a huge overness boost for themselves, which is amazing. That 4% overness boost for both of them. Really great to see. You see both of these members here getting a gimmick boost, which looks like that's going to go a long way towards keeping them hyped for years to come. And oh, by the way, steel cage match with a holy shit moment. Vincent Gabriel hitting Toru Miyamura with a Hurricane Rana. Hurricane Rana? I believe Hurricane Rana off the top of the cage. I don't know what that move is, but it sounds awesome. And it will get you a nice sum of creativity points. Also, this was a silver belt. I don't know why in the picture it looked like it was bronze. Yeah, that's a bug. So that's fun.
Maybe it upgraded in the time that we've been doing this, and it just never upgraded the graphic.
Feels like it should have, because it should have been a silver when they took it last month. But you know what? Journey of Wrestling works in mysterious ways. I think if we've learned anything, it's like, if you're any sports fan, right, and you've seen the refs and go, what the fuck are they thinking? How is this possible? This isn't the way that this was meant to go. I feel that way sometimes when working with this game and trying to measure its ups and downs. But it seems to have worked very well for Eduardo so far tonight, and we'll see if you can keep the momentum rolling with a blow-off match in this hype feud between Cameron Johnson and Ed Thompson. Tell us more about how this match came together and how this feud came to its conclusion.
Yeah, Cameron Johnson and Ed Thompson, both very talented, strong-style wrestlers. They've been feuding all over the place. And they said, today we're gonna finish it. Today's the last day where we fight each other, at least for a while. And Ed Thompson to the Cowboy is gonna fight the Daredevil in this street fight. And we'll see who'll take the win.
Cameron Johnson has been on a 2-match win streak, Xander. Do you think he continues that, or is Ed Thompson going to pull off the upset in this blow-off match?
Oh, man, this is rough. I think I want to see Ed Thompson pull out the dub here. I think he benefits the most by staying over, keeping the morale high, and he becomes a main eventer. I think across the board, giving him a win here is just, the biggest of dubs. So I would like to see it go to Ed Thompson.
I agree with you. I think the only way it changes is if you think Cameron Johnson is a title contender and you want to push him into that 900-plus range. I think that would be the only way I see it going the other way. But is the Cowboy taking the win tonight, Eduardo?
Yeah, the Cowboy is taking the win today. He's gonna cement this once and for all that he's a superior wrestler of this in this feud.
And look at that. It's a 5.5-star match. Huge overness boost for Ed Thompson. Cameron had the points to spare, so don't worry about that so much. It's a huge push for him. Both of them now solidly main eventers. You love to see a 5-star blow-off for the feud, getting some nice Greatest Wrestler experience. It's already a gold feud type, so not a lot to gain from there, but it's always nice to see a 5-star blow-off, and always nice to see such a big push for Ed Thompson. We will have to wait and see what comes next. Now, we do have quite the match, a triple threat steel cage tag match for the Guardianes de Pucara Femenino. This is Lethal Tempo, Phantom Troop, and Bittersweet. Eduardo, tell us how this match came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, the Bittersweet were their long-reigning champions, and then by feuding Phantom Troop, and then Little Tempo got into a bit of the action and got the title of Bittersweet. So we're gonna see if Bittersweet can take their title back. Phantom Troop can finally get their soul long after win, or if Little Tempo can retain against this fierce competition.
Yeah, Phantom Troop may or may not have accidentally gotten a win at one point because of a mouse slip error. Can't blame the game for that one. That's a Chase Wassenaar exclusive fail there. But when we're looking at this card, like they've gotten a win before. All three of these teams have held the title or hold the title now. I mean, Xander, who do you think takes the title tonight?
Well, since I'm not allowed to have the title, listen, I'm openly a fan of Lethal Tempo here. I know Bittersweet and Phantom Troop have been, coming at this, but I genuinely think that Lethal Tempo, you keep the belt on him. I don't think the title changeover for this one, I don't like it as much. Again, I know it's a lower end belt, that it can have more trade over and still be, okay. But I'd like to see Lethal Tempo continue their run. I want to see Bittersweet and Phantom Troop maybe get a little bit higher up there so that, they look a little bit stronger before they take this belt off. But, that's my 2 cents. I'd love to see where it's ending up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Phantom Troop ever wins this one. I think they have a lot of work to do before they become true challengers here. But I think, you look at Lethal Tempo, that overness averages out to 74. For Bittersweet, it averages out to 78.5. Both of them very much could benefit from a big win here tonight. Eduardo, who did you give the win to?
Yeah, Bittersweet's gonna take the title back.
Bittersweet takes the title back. It is a 4.75 star match. Nice overness boost for Bittersweet. It's a little bit of a hit to Lethal Tempo, which is a damn shame, but kind of inevitable. Phantom Troop, I'm surprised they took a morale hit. You'd think they'd be happy to be here, but given that 61% morale, you might need to pay attention to that next month. But for now, the big thing here is that it gets both members of Bittersweet over with the fans. Allison Cruzon and Lulu Cherry both getting a stat increase moving forward. And that extra star in work rate and charisma for both of them is going to go a long, long way, whether it's a singles or a doubles match. It was a blow-off. I didn't mention this earlier, Xander, because it would have given away where the match was going. But Phantom Troop and Bittersweet needed to blow off. And so one of them winning was kind of always going to be the way that this went. La Fantasma, not particularly thrilled right now, but you may or may not have a quest to fulfill for her that once fulfilled will go a long way. Now, the rain penalty is rough for the Guardianes del Pucara Femenino. I think the fact that you've had as many quick turnovers as you have has been a danger to the belt's prestige. So, luckily it was bronze anyway, so the damage is less than it would have been otherwise. But it will be very interesting to see, Eduardo, if this is something that changes your perspective of how this belt is handled in the future. But regardless,
I mean, I've only ordered this belt to change twice. So.
I think you've ordered it twice naturally. You've ordered it 3 times to undo my fuck up, and it's happened 4 times.
I'm doing fuck ups does not count to title prestige. I don't think it should.
I don't think it should either. And if it were up to me, I would undo the penalty and I would take the L. I'd hurt my own faction if I could, but the game does not currently allow me to do that, so we will have to move on, and we'll see how long Bittersweet can hold the title. But we move on now, and it seems like we're back to being in order. The Campeonato Cuyan Championship between Amber Manning and Layla Abelos. Tell us about this match, Eduardo.
Yeah, no, this is going to be our street fight for the Ryan title, and Cuyan, sorry. And Amber Manning and Layla Abelos. Layla Abelos thinks she's too pretty to be here, but Amber Manning is also a former volleyball player. So we're gonna see which of these two ladies can take the show. They're the best in the ring and actually take the win. They're both very talented, very popular with the fans, and also fairly young as well. Both are under 30.
Absolutely. Walter, you came at a perfect time. We're about 2/3 of the way through Eduardo's card, a card that has seen 3 5 3/4 star matches, and another 5.5 one to boot. But this is the Campeonato Cuyan Championship between Amber Manning and Layla Abelos. Walter, given what you can see here between the two, who would you pick to win this match?
Listen, looking at it, coming right in off of it, you got to keep it on Layla Abelos. She's getting up there, staying as a face of the company. And listen, Amber Manning, I'm looking at the stats, and she just does not compare to Layla Abelos. So keep it on the champion. Let the babyface take a couple more losses, then they can take the championship later on. But right now, keep it with Layla.
Do you agree with that, Xander?
I do agree. Layla holds on to this here. Amber needs a little bit more time. Layla, she's at 1,005 in her first month of becoming face of the company status. Again, losing a belt, you guaranteeably take a hit, right? So I think living it here with her for another month even, let alone 2 or 3, has just enormous benefit.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. I'm looking at that 1,005 popularity. And I think Layla Abelos, if you can make her a face of the company, it's worth doing and worth protecting her until she has a little bit more wiggle room. Eduardo, are we right, or are you swerving us tonight?
Yeah, we're all on the same page. Layla Abelos is taking the win.
And look at that. It's a nice 4.5 star match. A match that helps Amber Manning, honestly, more than anything. And what an important match for her, because if I'm correct, that's right, Amber Manning now over with the fans. She is growing to a 4-3 right now, which does a lot to make her a legitimate contender for this title down the line. That's how you do some feud building, folks. Obviously, you wish it scored a little bit higher than a 4.5 star match. I think, Street Fight typically helps a little bit more with the ratings than what we saw here. But at the end of the day, this advances the Campeonato Cuyan Championship to a silver belt, which is huge. Both because it's a nice increase for the prestige of this belt moving forward, but also it unlocks the Option C Championship segment, which, as I have learned, is a segment that allows you to vacate a title without taking a prestige hit to the title, and by exchanging it for a match contract to take another title instead. So I don't know if you'll be making use of that, Eduardo, but it is something that you will have moving forward. Meanwhile, Layla, she doesn't care about the rating. She got the win she wanted, and Amber Manning's over with the crowd, and I think that's a pretty good match to me. But we move on now. You have 3 more matches tonight, and we go to Nightmare Blue versus Ty Flaw. Tell us about this feud that's coming to a close at tonight's pay-per-view.
Yeah, Nightmare Blue and Time Flow were actually teammates in the development center. They started taking big matches, and they both became main eventers, and eventually they were destined to fight each other at the ring. At first they were a bit hesitant, but they realized that some friendly competition was just what they needed to get their game up. And they are going to try to show that one of them is the greatest wrestler and can take a main contender title even.
Absolutely. I mean, Nightmare Blue, despite the fearsome name, ruler of the Sapphire Kingdom, someone who, you like to see the bond here playing out on this big stage. Xander, I mean, these are 2 very similar wrestlers. Who do you give the win to?
Yeah, this one's tough. I mean, I like Nightmare Blue. I like Ty Flaw. I will say that when I see Nightmare Blue at an 0-3 recent record, 1-6 overall, and 75% morale, those factors alone do, kind of want me to push it in that direction. But Ty Flaw's got some solid talent. He's the 4-4 in this matchup. And he could make a move up the card that maybe shakes the entire promotion. So I will say that of all of the ones tonight, this one's the most coin flip. If it's me, I'm giving it to Nightmare Blue, though.
That's very fair. Do you concur, Walter?
I think the risk here is that either one of them, if you get unlucky, one of them's no longer a main eventer. And that sucks. That hurts to lose them into the main, get them out of the main event. So I'm going to say this is an Eduardo special. He's going to coin flip it.
Interesting. I do love the coin flips. Eduardo has used them in the past. Is this a coin flip, Eduardo, or do you have someone who you think deserves the win?
Unfortunately, this one's not a coin flip. This is a Nightmare Blue to reverse the Sapphire Kingdom. the W.
Woo!
Yeah. I think everything Xander said made a lot of sense. It certainly was a nice morale boost here. Typhloss still gaining popularity and not losing any morale, which is really important because you want to keep both of them in the main event. That's a 5.25 star match, which has got to be great to see. That hot match feels, ends up with a 5-star blow off. You only have the 2 holy shit moments tonight so far, so it has been an expensive card, unfortunately, but I do think this goes a long way towards building quite the rating heading into tonight's score, which honestly, points on the board after everything that you've been through with the weeklies and the water spout, I believe you called it, that took out one of your shows. So I think this is a really nice bounce back pay-per-view and reminding everyone why the Campeonato de Luchasaur is worth your time and investment. But we've got 2 more matches tonight. This is the Campeonato Ryan Championship between Alyssa Rose and Kelly Torres. I mean, this is a match I think fans have been waiting for ever since Kelly Torres had the title. It was in her hands, and Alyssa Rose cashed in and took it from her. I mean, Eduardo, what can fans expect tonight?
Kelly Torres is going to be mad. She definitely wants her title back, especially after her pretty long standing reign in which she looked unbeatable. But Alyssa Rose also worked hard to get it. She cashed in at the precise strategic moment, some may say, when Torres was tired, and now she has going to have to prove that she can take Torres head on.
Yeah, look, that's the game that you play, right? You know the cash-in's always available. You have to be ready for it, and Kelly was so excited about taking the title. She was not ready for what was to come, and that's got to be to Alyssa's credit. You appreciate the shrewdness. Walter, who do you think deserves to win the title this time around?
You know, I think you got to keep it on Alyssa Rose, and here's the thing. The reason you do a cash-in is because you want that person to hold the title belt and to take it off of someone 1 month later, right? 1 month later, damage the reputation of the belt with such a short reign. It doesn't make sense for it to go anywhere else other than staying on Alyssa Rose.
Do you concur there, Xander?
I do. I think you keep it on Alyssa Rose. I know there was some shenanigans that led to the current situation, and Kelly Torres would love to have it back, but I think it's too early for that to happen. I think this is a straight up match, and you're gonna have a straight up result.
I mean, I tend to concur. Are we right, Eduardo?
Yeah, Alyssa Rose is going to defend today.
Fantastic. You know, as someone who has Alyssa Rose in the league that inspired all of this, that I may or may not have accidentally ruined trying to test out some things for our fellow players, I love to see it. And how can you not love a match like this? 5.75 stars. A nice overness boost for both competitors. That tells me it was a hot match, which you love to see. That overness boost does go quite a long way. For a feud start, you can't immediately make a feud go hot, but the fact that you already have a hot match under your belt tells me it's going to get there sooner rather than later. Oh, by the way, Alyssa Rose officially on her way to becoming a face of the company. Oh, by the way, holy shit moment when Alyssa Rose hits Kelly Torres with a leg drop off the ladder. A whole bunch of nice things happening here, and a nice boost for the Campeonato Ryan Championship. I mean, an incredible match. One that could have very happily ended this card on a high note, but you have one more that you're hoping will bring everything home and cement the victory here tonight. So let's get into it. It is the Campeonato Andino Championship between Shichiro Ishihara and Lionel Looney. How did this match come together?
Lionel Looney, famously the #1 contender after some bit. He somewhere had doubts that he was on the level. He said no one else was at this level, but he's proved to put on some impressive match versus Ishihara, who of course is our strong style specialist and has managed to retain the title so far.
Absolutely. He's held it for 2 months now. Should have held it for longer, but there may have been some shenanigans along the way. The important part of the story is that he's been an incredible title holder since he's got it back in his hands. Xander, does he keep it tonight, or do we see a major upset in our last match of the evening?
I don't think there's a major upset tonight. I think Shichiro Ishihara keeps it tonight. Again, I like Lionel Looney, but I just don't think him taking it tonight with where he's at and where Shichiro is at this moment make any sense. So I do think this is Shichiro closing this out, taking the dub home, and then looking for that next competitor for this title.
Do you concur, Walter?
Couldn't agree more, Xander. You're looking at a 35-year-old heel that is at his ceiling, and unfortunately, the level that he is at is still below where Ishihara is. I go Ichihara to retain in this ladder match.
I think y'all are making a lot of sense to me. Eduardo, are you with us on that journey?
Yeah, Ishihara's going to retain.
And that's, oh my goodness, it's a 6.25-star match to end the card.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
I don't know
massive.
how many above 6-star matches we've seen in this competition. What a huge match from these two competitors. I mean, say what you will about Lionel Looney, he's going to take a popularity hit, but oh boy, does he know how to put on a strong match. It doesn't even look like the match went hot. They just seem to be that fucking good.
Yep.
Wow.
My friends here did not have the confidence in Looney. I knew Looney had the talent to put up a hell of a performance. I definitely paid off.
That's not what
tonight.
I said. I just said he wasn't taking the title home.
No, you guys said that last main event.
I just couldn't. I would have sworn that Lionel Looney, for this match to be this good and to have this much of an overness boost for the loser, would require it to go hot, and that's just not the case. And with a 6.25-star match is the thing that theoretically is getting doubled. I mean, who can be surprised that that's a 5.5-star pay-per-view from Eduardo? That is huge. To put that in perspective, 5.5 stars is the highest that anyone has ever gotten in one of these pay-per-view cards. It has sometimes ended up in a tie, in which case hype becomes a factor, but it is always at least tied for the top spot. And several weeks is enough to just win it outright. I mean, Eduardo, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I expected a bit more from some of these matches, but I think I can't complain too much about the final results.
Man, if you expected more from this, I don't know what's left on the table. I mean, it's an incredible night.
This should have been something with like a 7-star match. Like, did you watch it? Like when Ishihara dropped off the star?
7-star
was a helpful.
Man, oh man. Well, I know you're feeling good about that score. I do have to ask, Eduardo, because you're not going to be able to stay here for the entirety of the night. It is very important that we settle this. The Grand Invitational is about to arise. And at the Grand Invitational, you have to send, I believe, 2 wrestlers, but let's just be on the safe side and name 4 here in order that will be competing on your promotion's behalf with a title and quite a lot of creativity points on the line. Could you please, for the sake of everyone at home, lock in your competitors for the Grand Invitational tonight? These are all randomly simulated matches, so outside of just having a 4-star work rate, whoever you want to be on that promotion representing the Campeonato de Luchasaur, that's all up to you.
Oh, interesting. Let me go through my roster a bit.
That's fair. Well, I'm certainly happy to vamp for a little bit while you're doing that. I mean, Walter, I believe your card is going to be up next if we're going based off the order from the weeklies. While Eduardo's pulling his stuff together, I mean, what do you have in store for us tonight?
How the fuck am I supposed to follow that? How? What am I supposed to do after that fucking crazy card? Well
Your
then,
best,
yeah, my best. Yeah, it will be. It'll definitely be the best that I can try. Listen, I feel like I have finally gotten a hang of the video game. right? I think that's really been a big thing for me, is I'm kind of finally understanding it. I've gotten pretty unlucky. Let's be honest, I've gotten unlucky with some of these roles. You know, we had a battle royale here a few weeks ago that or on the last card that should have just done much better. And you know, I came into this, I have some plans, and the big thing is that not only am I building to Mayhem, which is the pay-per-view tonight, the reality is I'm building towards the next gold pay-per-view, Schools Out, which is the next cycle after this. We're gonna see the beginning of some things here at this pay-per-view. We're not necessarily gonna see the end of anything here at this pay-per-view. The big thing about this pay-per-view is setting up for Schools Out, where there will be some endings. There will be some definitive finishes. And I'm very excited to see where we go into the next pay-per-view cycle. But I would also like to point out, I believe I have more creativity points than anyone coming into this pay-per-view. So it is imperative for me to maintain my creativity points lead, because we all know that the real way to judge a company is by how much profit it makes at the end of the year.
I disagree a bit, but also I have my 4 wrestlers selected. If I may interject a bit.
You do? Okay, then
We're going
tell
to
us-
be drumroll, please.
Okay.
Isamu Masuchi,
Samu Masucci, okay.
Hayley,
Haley,
Violetta,
okay.
and lastly, Mr. Supernova himself, Conrad Supernova.
Okay, and it is in that order of priority?
Masuchi, Hayley, Supernova, Violetta. That's order of priority.
Okay, fantastic. Well, are you going to be able to stick around for Walter's card, Eduardo, or are we saying goodbye before we jump in to what Mayhem has to offer for us?
I'm going to be saying goodbye, but I'm going to wish my competitors the best of luck, since they're gonna need it, and I really hope I don't wake up to an average of 6-star matches, match cards today. Because that's happened.
No promises. No promises.
For the sake of the
Okay,
stream, I kind of hope we get there, but for your sake, I wish you the best, especially because, as I told you before this started, I really need somebody to beat Xander who's not me, because I don't have a lot of faith in my own card tonight.
I have woken up to disappointment before, so
Hey!
Don't worry, I'm here to try and make that happen for you again, Eduardo. Sleep tight.
yeah, I trust.
Yeah, thanks for your time, my friend. Take care. And we will now move on to Mayhem. And I have double checked here. I do believe that we have
Triple check. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
every match in order. I choose to believe. As much fun as Eduardo had, I mean, clearly didn't seem to affect him too negatively.
Yeah, no, it worked out for him. He's all right.
So
Hey, understandable here.
And
so
tell us
yeah.
about this Theodore Vincent Heritage title 4-way tables match.
Yeah, that's right. You know me, I like to start out my pay-per-views with a bang. This is now going to be the third pay-per-view. The Theodore Vincent Heritage title will kick off. Other ones we've used the Mildred S. Robinson Cup, and we have had one tag championship match. But the Theodore Vincent Heritage title, it is the youngsters title. It is a bronze title currently, but this is the one we want the younger guys, right? We want the less experienced workers to get their shine on. It has been held by Cobra Gaston since the Battle Royale at New Year's Slam. That definitely was not done purely because I had a season objective to have Cobra Gaston win a major Battle Royale. He is joined, of course, by his manager and his girlfriend, Livia Scribner of the Scribner family. And here we have a couple of other people that he has been sort of feuding with, tangentially feuding with. Obviously, Virginia Warbler. We all remember the barn burner of a match that they had at the Heritage Cup. He has been very insistent that he doesn't think Cobra Gaston, is a worthwhile champion. He is besought by the fact that his friend has gone down this path of being with the Scribners. Viper Gaston, Cobra's brother, actual brother, and tag team partner, is in this match as well. Him and Virginia think that they need to convince Cobra to leave the Scribner family, to stop, being involved with them. They're very diabolical people. And speaking of diabolical, the kidnapper himself, Eddie Davis. Listen, I understand committing a crime usually would mean some sort of punishment, but Christopher Devlin gave me $1,000 to put him in this match. He said the kid earned it. He deserves a shot at a title, and he's got Assassino in his corner, so Devlin can make sure the job gets done.
And here I thought he just used his time travel powers in order to get out of the consequences, but here we are. I mean, Xander, quite the matchup here. Who do you think should take the win?
Yeah, listen, I think Cobra Gaston is going to take the dub here one more again. I like the story building that's going on here with Viper and Virginia Warbler, and of course Eddie Davis with Assassino, but I don't know, I see a bright future for Cobra. I see him making his way to the tippity top, and you do that tonight right here by giving him a win.
Yeah, look, I think there are two ways to look at this, right? You go for Cobra Gaston because you're boosting him to the moon and you believe he has a chance to become a face of the company one day. Or you give it to Eddie Davis, which I have to be honest, if you're going to kidnap me, I want to see you at least be good, right? It's important to me that you go out and prove that I didn't get kidnapped by a scrub. So I have my own conflicting feelings on that, I suppose. But Walter, where did you end up?
Well, I'm gonna go with Xander here. It is going to stay with Cobra Gaston. And, Livia Scribner on the outside there. Sometimes they fuck things up. And here's the key point, guys. Viper and Cobra really go after each other in this match. As you can see, there's Cobra kicks out of Viper's finisher, asks him to try and finish him off. He's not capable of doing it. He can't finish off his brother. And that ends up being the undoing here as Cobra Gaston wins.
Yeah, it's super interesting because not only did we see Cobra win and a nice popularity boost, but we saw a morale hit. And I don't know if that's because he thinks Viper and Virginia are kind of beneath him at this point. I'm sure Viper not happy to see his brother kind of wanting to move on to bigger and better things, it would seem. But definitely an interesting match to start here. 4.75 stars. A solid start to this card.
I would just like to say, I have already given up any hope of beating Eduardo this week, so...
Hey, they dropped some matches somewhere along the line. I feel like I understand the scoring system a lot less than I used to. But, hey, fingers crossed that this is the lowest point of the night and you've got a lot more to look forward to. Certainly, I think this feud, 4 different feuds making their way into this 2v2 match. Tell us about this match between Tosotsu Funo Sentai, I hope I got that right, versus Meiji
Tosutsu Funo Sentai.
Yeah. How'd we get here?
Tosutsu Funo Sentai, after Mei Fukushima defeated Talia Adler 3 weeks ago on the, the first kind of show on the road to Mayhem, herself, Aiko Haruka, and newcomer Saiko Sahana have now joined forces in an effort to try and dethrone Empress Kabuki. She has been running roughshod over the promotion since New Year's Slam. And, the Empress has been like, well, listen, I've already beaten 2 of you multiple times. Psycho, listen, you're new. You haven't done anything to prove it. But my challenger from the last pay-per-view, Angelina Cardinal, who the Empress is kind of furious about, right? Is like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, this woman almost beat me, and maybe if it wasn't for Maester Gomez, I would have lost. Like, what the fuck? She wanted a match with Angelina Cardinal, but she very clearly will be fighting Maester Gomez later on tonight. And she said, well, how am I going to get on the card? And I was like, well, listen, maybe I don't make it a title match, but maybe we get a little bit of a tag match, a women's tag match between you and Adler and Sahana and Haruka. Maybe Sahana can show a little bit of what she's worth. Right? And maybe you have another challenger that's hiding in the wings. Sahana and Haruka jumped all over it. Mei Fukushima is a little disappointed, but at the end of the day, happy that her friends are getting the match here tonight.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be an interesting one to see if Psycho can prove herself in this match. Xander, do you think we have an upset on our hands, or does the Empress take care of business tonight?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that the Empress takes care of business tonight, but I personally would love an upset. I would really love an upset. I would love to see Sahana and Haruka just get this like kind of out of nowhere dub tonight. I don't think it happens. I think it's a low percentage chance, but yeah, that's what I would love to see versus what my brain is telling me I'm going to see.
I do think that's interesting. I like the Empress. I think she's proven herself, and I think she's worth continuing to build up here. Walter, which one of us ends up being right?
Well, considering the Empress is going to be going to that tournament later on, it's made in Japan. Let's be honest. These women were not able to defeat the Empress Kabuki one-on-one, and in a tag match where Adler is basically just there to give the Empress a breather every now and then. Empress Kabuki wrestled 90% of this match, and it's very difficult to win a match when you're against the women's champion.
Yeah, I mean, look at the feuds that got started, right? Aiko and Talia, Psycho and Talia, both of them now trying to take on someone who isn't the Empress, right? Because taking on the Empress, that's a lot more than they could probably handle at this time. But it's the Made in Japan Tosatsu Funo Sentai feud. The end of the line is going to be fascinating to watch because one of these factions is not going to exist when that feud comes to a close. We will see exactly how well they hold up. And oh, by the way, it is indeed Empress Kabuki getting up from Seiko Sahana's finisher before asking her to hit another. No surprise at all that that's the holy shit moment of the night. And that's 2 holy shit moments in 2 matches, Walter. So you're going to keep raking in those creativity points if nothing else.
And nothing over 5 stars, just the way I like it.
Hey, a 5-star match is nothing to sneeze at, my friend, but it does feel, I mean, when you watch a card as good as Eduardo's, he can talk it down all he wants. That's his prerogative. Stranger things have happened, and I'm sure Xander is hungry to prove that what I'm about to say is hubris, but I think we can't let that determine whether or not you should be happy with how tonight goes. But that's where I come down, I suppose. You got the brass ring, though, between Daniel Stevenson and Colton Scribner. Interesting ladder match here. Tell us how it came together.
Yeah, if you will remember, back when I debuted the brass ring at New Beginnings, Daniel Stevenson defeated Legend Killa, Dead Killa, the Prophets, Colton Scribner, Viber Gaston, Assassino, and the Scribner family, the tag team of Anthony and Jace, in a Battle Royale match. And, since then, Colton has had an eye on Daniel Stevenson. The Scribners defeated Stevenson, Kyle Lucha, and Rick Dolan of Eternum 2 weeks ago on the weekly shows, and they've just been around. Anytime Daniel Stevenson appears and is talking to somebody, the Scribners aren't too far behind, and, Colton approached me and said, hey, listen, I think maybe it was a fluke that Daniel Stevenson won that Battle Royale. And I said, I mean, okay, if you say so, like, he's a very good wrestler, and, I don't get what you think. And he's like, right, but I think it was a fluke. I think I'm better than him. So I said, okay, well, what do you want? You want a match with him? He's like, no, I want the brass ring. And I said, okay, well, then you have to have a match with him. He said, fine, I'll have a match with him. And Daniel Stevenson was like, well, am I going to be on the card otherwise? And I was like, well, actually, no, I don't really have anything for you to do. So he said, sure, kid, I'll face you in a ladder match for this brass ring contract. Whatever. So that's where we are, Colton Scribner and Daniel Stevenson in a ladder match for the brass ring contract.
I mean, Xander, with stakes like these, who do you think is going to come out on top?
I mean, with stakes like these, who's gonna have the chicken? You know what I mean? Like, I think you give it to. I like giving it to Daniel here, having him hold it a little bit longer. He's got 2 wins under his belt. Making this push a little bit higher. He's at 969. He's so close to face of the company status, right? And he's got a lot of upside there. He's already super over. I can see giving it to Colton. Colton is also someone, a win like this could push Colton into that. I mean, you get a belt right here in a ladder match, in a height match, you're looking at like a 10% overness bump. You know what I mean? If it's a crazy hot match, you could be looking at 13-14%. Colton instantly becomes a main eventer, instantly gets over and is that 4-4 guy. But it's really a matter of what you see for the prestige of this, right? I think Daniel has the least downside for maintaining the prestige of this. I think Colton, can have a solid match here and still benefit. So I like giving it to Daniel here.
I think that's very interesting. I think if it's a straight match, Daniel wins every time. He's got the 4 work rate. He has proven himself in the ring every time he stepped into it. But Walter, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think this is a straight up match.
Well, Xander, what you don't know is that Ethan Wild has been standing here backstage the entire time waiting. And as Daniel Stevenson looks to be about to win, has now strode out of Gorilla, will cause a distraction, and Colton Scribner will take the contract.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, I think you had written interference before. That was not a possibility. So it is going to be this distraction that does take the brass ring contract. Daniel Stevenson heartbroken. A huge morale hit. This is not how he wanted to lose the title. But look at the morale boost for Colton. Look at the overness change. I mean, he's at 76%. He is very close. As Xander said, an overness boost plus the win, he is well on his way to being quite over with the fans. But at least for now, he is guaranteed as a main eventer within this company. And I imagine Colton's going to want to hang on to this as long as he can.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Ethan's come backstage and he's been laughing. He is laughing his ass off as he's walking backstage here. Daniel Stevenson very clearly heartbroken, but he's very confused. That's the biggest thing. And he has some other members of Eternum here around him, in the Killers in particular that are trying to. I don't know if I want to say console, but they're kind of like asking him, like, what happened? Why did Ethan do that? That's confusing. I don't understand. And Ethan has returned to his locker room and has locked the door. So nobody's able to get into him. And we're going to see Ethan later on in this card. So I wonder if maybe something's going to happen.
Yeah, it seems like there's certainly some discord within Eternum. Ethan Wild, that move drops Eternum down a reputation, but the Scribner family gets a big win there. Colton, of course, is the faction leader. You love to see that bonus, and we will see what he does with the belt moving forward at the Stamford Wrestling Alliance. But we move on now to a Steel Cell match between Maester Gomez and Angelina Cardinal. This is the first Steel Cell match in the history of the SWA, and Angelina called Maester out at the last weekly. Walter, what can we expect from this particularly hyped feud?
Well, we can expect this as a feud. This is a hot feud. This is a big feud between Angelina Cardinal and Maester Gomez. Angelina and Maester have been feuding since the beginning of the company. Maester Gomez interfering in Angelina Cardinal's championship match at Aftermath after Angelina Cardinal had defeated Maester Gomez in a special referee match the week before for the right to the title. Over the course of the build up to this, Angelina Cardinal and Amanda Ace defeated telenovela of Maester Gomez and Consequencia to earn the right to decide the stipulation for this match. And almost as if taunting Angelina Cardinal, Maester Gomez challenged Amanda Ace to a steel cage match 1 week ago and brutalized her within the cage, to which Angelina Cardinal came out and said, "It won't be a cage because you won't be allowed to escape. It'll be a steel cell." To which Maester Gomez was not very happy, but this is where we are. We are Angelina Cardinal and Maester Gomez in a steel cell.
Yeah, it's quite hype to see the first steel cell match in this company's history. Xander, who do you think is getting the nod tonight?
In the steel cell match, would love to see Angelina Cardinal take the win home. She lost in the last one. But again, she's 19 years old. She is the face, and this is a huge steel cell match. I picture her with Layla Hurts behind her, with the steel cell blood everywhere. And I think that's the move here. I think that it would be a crazy big win for her career. If the match is just even slightly good, then Maester Gomez gets pulled up with her. On top of that, already at that 79 overness and 795 popularity. I don't even think you need to give her the win here with how close she is for this to be super hype. So I would like to see Angelina Cardinal take it.
See, that's interesting because my instinct when I see a person this close is to say, why risk it, right? Why risk something in the match going wrong and Maester not getting over, not becoming a main eventer? I lean towards locking it in, but only one of us can be right, Walter. Who are you giving the win to tonight?
Angelina Cardinal. I'll give it that extra little flair. She's
go.
a 19-year-old 4-4, 100% over with the fans. Building up. She is a main eventer. I am jetting her up the card, right? She almost beat Empress Kabuki at the last pay-per-view, if not for Maester Gomez. I see no reason not to keep, firing her up the card because we do have another pay-per-view in a month, and I don't know. I think the Empress might need a challenger.
That makes a lot of sense to me. It is a 4 3/4 star match. Maester Gomez does lose a little bit of popularity, does lose a little bit of morale. That was always the risk when you don't give her the win. But you get a holy shit moment here. Angelina Cardinal spearing Maester Gomez through the cell wall. That is going to be another 30 creativity points and overness for each of them. The steel cell match getting a nice bit of experience as well. I'm kind of surprised it's only 4 3/4 stars, given that you got the holy shit moment. But, the game does what the game does sometimes. And certainly Angelina Cardinal's got to be feeling very good about how this went down. So we will see how that pays off at the next pay-per-view. But real quick, we've got a hype package for the main event of the show, Ethan Wilde versus Craig Opley. Amelie Gonzalez, check your PayPal.
Yes, Amelie, please check your PayPal. Thank you for the good work that you've been doing tonight. Just good all around.
Yeah, I mean, look, Walter, you had to know this was at risk of potentially falling off and being a thing to drop. But unfortunately, not quite the role you were looking for from Amelie. Hopefully she learns from it. And
Find a wrestler named Xander. Got it. All right. Put that in the old notebook here. Got it. Anyway, sorry. What was that?
I've got him. Sorry.
Yeah, Xander Cage is already in his promotion. Now, if you could sign him away, maybe you make a trade.
Wait. Rename Alexander Palmer right now.
Hey, for 50 creativity points, you can make your dreams come true. That's all I'm saying. But we move on now to the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, this one has been long awaited. It's the first shoot match in SWA history. Walter, walk us through what is a shoot match and why is it so important that Heizo and Kaiichi are fighting tonight?
So here's the thing, right? When I created this, I thought what I was making was like an MMA style match. And it turns out what this is like a 3 stages of hell, where we select 3 different match types that they have to go through, and whoever wins the first 2, 2 out of 3, they win the entire thing. And I forget what I chose. I think I chose submission, steel cell, or steel cage, and something else. So yeah, I mean, Heizo Ogawa, Kaiichi Sakurai, they've been feuding for quite a while. Ever since Sakurai lost the belt to Ogawa in his steel cage match at Aftermath. We have obviously added the sensei of them both, Kaito Sakura, who has aligned himself with his star pupil, as he has been saying, Heizo Ogawa, and is in his corner. And Sakurai, he was a former champion. He deserves a shot at reclaiming his title. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, Sakurai, if he maintains this, could be on his way to becoming a face of the company. Heizo Ogawa is on month 1 of 6 of becoming a face of the company. So 2 incredible wrestlers here. Walter, who are you giving the nod to? Xander, who are you giving the nod to if you're in Walter's shoes?
Yeah, well, I'm now Walter, and so I decide that Heizo Ogawa keeps it. Regardless of what this other clown on here, who is definitely not Walter, says, it's Heizo Ogawa because Heizo's going to 1,200 popularity, and he's going to run this promotion, and that's that.
Interesting. I like Heizo a lot. I think he's held the belt for a while and for good reason. And I do believe this feud, it's too early on to give it over to Kaiichi. So you and I are aligned there. As much as I like the idea of both of these men being on their way to being faces of the company, I don't think you do the title change quite yet. Are we right, Walter?
Well, since I'm Xander now, hang on. Sign wrestler named Walter. Got it. That's in the notebook now. So, yes, it's going to stay with Heizo Ogawa. He's only had the belt for a month. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice win. Unfortunately, the crowd is indifferent. Wow. That is a tough negative roll. I imagine it's because the shoot match... No! Shoot match increased! What is happening with the scoring on this card? I'm
Sign wrestler named Journey of Wrestling.
Yeah, look, the dev has some explaining to do on this one.
I'm being bullied. I'm being silenced. This is bullshit. I blame the network.
There's so many things that should go right with this. Submission, steel cage, and a last man standing. Heizo, this should be hype. And the crowd just didn't give a shit. I'm flabbergasted.
Both of them are over. Both of them are 1,000 popularity. Like, what the fuck?
This one.
He just got a holy shit moment and a shoot match increase. He put him through the announce table and fans went crazy. So, okay, if the fans are going crazy, how'd you get a different crowd?
Hey, guys, like we said, listen, sometimes the refs just don't score it the way that a human being or robot or intelligent alien would. Sometimes they score it like plankton.
You know what, Chase? I'm going to show them something they're really not going to like. I'm going to fucking do it later.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, at this
knows
point,
what's about to happen.
I do. And it's not, I want to be clear. I am on your side, but I accept what's going to happen to me as a result of this bullshit. I don't even know what to say at this point. Here's what I can say. I can say that we have the SWA Tag Championship. It is a fatal 4-way tables, ladders, and chairs match. I mean, Walter, those who saw the last weekly know how this match came together, but in your own words, how did we end up with a 4-way TLC match to determine this title?
Well, here's the thing. 4 weeks ago, the first weekly show leading up to Mayhem here, Down Under and Neon Wings had a hell of a TLC match that Hollywood Bound interfered with, potentially cost Neon Wings the win. It was a pretty close match. Matt Militant was absolutely furious after the tag match, absolutely incensed. He wanted to face Hollywood Bound in like some kind of revenge match. And Hollywood Bound, they're smart guys. They came back to me and they said, hey, listen, we'll fight Down Under, but what if we fight both of them? And if we win, we get to, fight them at the next pay-per-view. We'll do some sort of 3-way match. And I said, hey, that's a great idea. Actually, I like that better. Cool. We'll do a 3-way tag match. And if you lose to either of them, you don't get to be on the pay-per-view. And they said, yeah, it's fine. And then like an hour later, Tyson Morriso came in and said, Walter, buddy, listen, I hear you got a tag match idea, but I've got a tag team, and I think they deserve to be in the title picture. And I said, well, what do you propose? He says, well, listen, instead of making it a 3-way tag match to see if Hollywood Bound gets in, what if we make it an 8-man tag match? 4-on-4, the lads versus Hollywood Bound and Prodigious. And if we win, all 4 teams are at the pay-per-view. And you know what? We can do something crazy like a TLC match. And I said, listen, Tyson, I fucking hate your guts, but I like what you're selling me here. And Prodigious and Hollywood Bound won, inserting themselves into the title picture, of which they will now face, Down Under Neon Wings to see who comes out of this TLC match as the champion.
Absolutely. I mean, quite the match ahead of us, Xander. Between these 4 incredibly talented tag teams, who do you think is taking it home tonight?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've seen Neon Wings, we've seen Hollywood Bound. I've always been a very big open fan of Prodigious. If I was going to root for anyone tonight to take the belt off of Down Under, it would, of course, be Prodigious. I want to see Prodigious get the dub. I think that they've got a huge upside here. And again, I like seeing them get the win. They are set at the 3-3, 91% average overness, giving them the win. I'm pretty sure pushes one of them a little bit higher. They're 0-2 in the last, but they've had really high quality matches. And I think Down Under are ready to lose the belt. I mean, I think it's time Down Under drop the belt.
Yeah, the game is bugging, so we can't see how many months that's.
If I remember correctly, though, it's 2 months at least for them having the belt here. So
they've had the belt since New Year's Slam.
Yes. So again, I think it's time. Prodigious with Tyson Morrisseau behind him. Come up, drop the boots in the face of Neon Wings, throw Hollywood Bound out of the ring, and then they climb up that ladder and take it right out from Down Under.
Actually, I like your Prodigious angle. I've always been a fan of Neon Wings, and not just because they've wrestled alongside Chase for a while now, but I do believe you're probably not taking the title off of the lads to give it to the other lads. So Walter, who is taking this one tonight?
Listen, Chase, you say that, but I have been hinting. There's a faction civil war hiding in somewhere in here. Yeah. So is this it? Is it Neon Wings beating Down Under to start the cracks within the lads? And Xander, listen, you had a really great storytelling here of why Prodigious and how Prodigious can win this title. The only problem with that, you got the wrong tag team name. It's Hollywood Bound that is going to steal it from Down Under, underneath the noses of Prodigious and Neon Wings. They will be the new champions.
They sure will. Look at that overness boost. Look at that morale boost. Look at that 5.5-star match, the highest of the night. Now, Prodigious are taking quite the overness hit. That is unfortunate. Everything else here is this minor morale hit. That could be very easily assuaged later on, but a huge win for the Dominatus Tenebris faction here at Hollywood Bound. A nice boost for them. No holy shit moment, nothing, no one else getting over with the fans, but certainly cementing Hollywood Bound as a force to be reckoned with in this promotion, and we will see if anyone is capable of taking them down now that they have proven that they can take down both Down Under and Neon Wings in the ring.
Absolutely, and I am very proud to announce that in September, the Harold G. Vincent Memorial Cup, that will be the finals and the semifinals of a tag team tournament. The winner of that tournament will be able to decide who will be able to challenge the tag team champions at the following gold pay-per-view of Winter Zone. The current champions at the time will be allowed to be in that tournament as well. If they win, they will get to choose their appointment at Winter Zone, but the Harold G. Vincent Memorial Cup will be a tag team tournament to determine the Winter Zone tag team championship match, essentially.
Well, I'm very excited to see a tournament play out. It's about time somebody in this competition makes use of one. But we've got 3 more matches on this card before we can move on. And the mayhem keeps going with Christopher Devlin versus Chase. For those who haven't been following the weeklies, how's Chase been doing, Walter?
What started as me selecting Chase during the draft purely as a ha-ha, funny, Chase, you know, has turned into something beautiful. The crowd has gotten behind Chase. He has tagged with Neon Wings a couple of times in a trio setting. First, let me see. Let me go through Chase's history real quick, because we did do a bit of a pay-per-view, not pay-per-view, but a package. First, they lost. He and Neon Wings lost to Drew King and Pocket Rocket on the road to New Beginnings. They then lost again to Bryson and Parole on the Roll. Again, Chase and Neon Wings. The next week, also on the road to New Beginnings. After that, Chase lost a tag match where he was partnered with Jules Murphy against Drew King and Alexander Palmer at New Beginnings. He then won a trios match him and Neon Wings versus Alexander Palmer and Pocket Rocket. That allowed him to get into a trios championship match, which the Kingdom, Bryson and Pearl on the roll, actually won over the lads, Chase and Neon Wings and the Scribner family. Chase then won a battle royale on the build to Mayhem. And in that battle royale, he won the right to challenge Christopher Devlin for the world title. Because the fans were getting behind him, right? He was kind of, I would say he was like a wild card that I threw in there because the fans were getting behind him. He was getting over. He was popular. After the match, Devlin came out, was weirdly very cordial. Looked like he was going to shake his hand, but he beat down Chase. The following week, Chase had to defend his right to Christopher Devlin at this pay-per-view in a steel cage match against Drew King, Eddie Davis, and Alexander Palmer, after which Eddie Davis kidnapped Chase and was forced to fight in a last man standing match last week in the main event, again, to maintain this title shot. Christopher Devlin and Dominatus Tenebris have put Chase through living hell over the past month just for him to be able to stand across the ring from him tonight.
Yeah, it's been a hard month for Chase and also in the game. And it's not, we'll see how he can handle Christopher Devlin given everything he's been through. Xander, who do you think is taking the W tonight?
This is a rough one. You got Chris Devlin, you got Chase, and Chase has been making big waves. He'd gotten those 3 consecutive wins. But again, he's up against Christopher Devlin tonight. He's up against one of arguably the greatest wrestlers in any of our promotions. And it's that reason that I think that Chris Devlin is going to put him in his place, that Chase is going to take quite the beating, not just because his name is Chase, not just because you, Chase, have been winning a lot up until last week, but really, at the end of the day, I think that this is how Walter demonstrates to Journey of Wrestling where it belongs in the pecking order, and he and Christopher Devlin are going to, turn you into, unfortunately, the thing absorbing all of that anger. All right, and yeah, so enjoy the beating.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes for Chase in this match. The question is how bad it's going to be. Walter, how bad is it going to be?
Here's the thing, Chase. You and I talked about a potential idea, right? And you told me the consequences of the idea, right? And I said, oh, that consequence is too much to bear. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, it's like that gif with the girl where she's like, nah, I don't. Well, And here's the thing. I wasn't going to do this, right? But there are 2 factors at play here. One, there is no fucking chance in hell I can beat Eduardo at this point. It's just not fucking possible. So it doesn't matter that I have a 3-star producer package that's gonna fall off, right? There is no way for me to beat Eduardo at this point. Still was having it hawing over, and I probably wasn't gonna do it until you gave me a fucking indifferent crowd for the SWA Intercontinental Championship match for that shoot fight. Because of these 2 reasons and these 2 reasons alone, I no longer care about this card. And you really want to be fucking indifferent? Squash the fucker. Squash Chase.
Yeah, look, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow, look at that penalty to Chase. That's a -11 overness. That's a -34 in popularity. He is still over, but man, oh man, Christopher Devlin has crushed him in this match. And it is like, because it's not in the main event and the match wasn't highly rated, you do lose a little bit of prestige, but you kind of knew that was coming. And woo lads, sucks to be Chase right now.
The crowd deserves it. The crowd deserves it. They can go fuck themselves. But the thing is here, Chase. Listen, this isn't about Chase anymore, right? This is about the fucking crowd.
I was
Fuck
gonna say,
the crowd.
I didn't give you that indifferent crowd, my friend. I was raging
Fuck the
with
crowd.
you.
Fuck the crowd. This is no longer about me punishing my buddy Chase. This is now me punishing the crowd for being like, oh, we didn't care about that match. Fine, you're gonna get a 30-second match. Go fuck yourself. And listen, yeah, there's a tournament that's coming up, and Christopher Devlin is gonna be arguably my number 2 pick to send to it because Empress Kabuki is the number 1 pick. But you know, both my champions are going to be going to that tournament, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm curious, Xander, before we move to the next match, any thoughts about the squash we just saw in front of us?
Squash.
That'll do it. We move on to the Mildred S. Robinson Cup. Oh my goodness, poor Chase. Brooklyn Cambriel versus Jessie Mallory. How'd this match come together, Walter?
You know, Xander, it's Xander's fault really, because he gave up hope in Brooklyn. At the very last moment, when it was about her time to rise and win a championship, Xander forsake his oath to always select Brooklyn whenever they saw her. And with that being said, she won the Mildred S. Robinson Cup at the last pay-per-view, winning a ladder match, defeating Mai Fukushima, Trixie Albright, Nora Nunes, Marie Barrett, Psycho Sahana, Livia Scribner, and the former champion, Jessie Mallory. And, you know, Jessie is not happy about it. She has got a lot of potential. She was a very good champion for me, and she wants to regain her belt. And I think that this is a nice feud. I'm not quite ready to really push Jessie way up the card yet. You know, Empress Kabuki has plenty of challengers, and the one real big baby face I have in Angelina Cardinal is kind of embroiled in that. So I said, listen, I need to work on you a little bit more. I need to build up your potential a little bit more. How about you get a rematch against Brooklyn Cambriel? To which she said, well, abso-fucking-lutely. Of course I want my belt back. I want my belt so I can then go challenge the champion and unite the belts. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Okay, well, you got it. So they're in this match tonight.
They sure are. And Xander, you made the mistake. You abandoned Brooklyn before.
No,
Have
it's
you
Brooklyn.
learned your lesson?
It's Brooklyn. I've learned my lesson. It's Brooklyn.
Yeah, I tend to believe it's Brooklyn too. Just because she just won it, it would be weird to give it back to Jessie. Are we right, Walter?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to stay with Brooklyn Cambriel for now.
And there you go. That's a 5 1/4 star match. That's a nice push for Brooklyn. Sure, Jessie loses a little bit of overness and a little bit of morale, but she could afford to lose both of those things. More importantly, it continues. Oh my goodness, I didn't see that Chase's gimmick declined in the last match. That's unfortunate. But look at this, Brooklyn Cambriel gutting up from Jessie Mallory's finisher for a holy shit moment in a match that did not have a gimmick. You don't see a lot of 5+ star matches and holy shit moments in matches with no gimmick, but this certainly did it. And with that, with the feuds in play, with the quality of the challenger, quality of the champion, this belt is well on its way to becoming a silver star. One more good defense should do it. So
that's how good these ladies are. That's how good they are. That's all I can say about it. That's how good they are.
It is an incredible performance from them. And now, Walter, it's been an up and down card. I think it's safe to say, but here's the payoff for something we saw earlier. Ethan Wilde out of his dressing room here for the main event tonight versus Craig Opley. What can fans expect here as Craig Opley desperately tries to hold on to his path towards being a face of the company?
Yeah, so here's what happened, right? Back at New Beginnings, last Gold pay-per-view, Ethan Wilde defeated Craig Opley in a dog collar match. It was a brutal affair, a lot of blood, a lot of gruesomeness, and then Opley disappeared. He needed to go recover. He had a little bit of a minor injury that he needed to take a couple weeks off and relax, and that left Ethan Wilde without anything to do. So he wrestled with Daniel Stevenson against Christopher Devlin and Assassino at Aftermath in an unsanctioned tag match, which Assassino pinned Daniel Stevenson. Ethan has still refused to say anything about what happened earlier tonight, and I can confirm Daniel Stevenson has demanded an explanation on the next week of of our weekly shows. So next week you will have a confrontation between Ethan Wild and Daniel Stevenson so that his actions can be explained. Meanwhile, Craig Opley, he came back from that injury. He had a fight with Kenzo Nye to determine that, like, yeah, I'm ready, I'm healthy. Nye really put him through the ringer in a street fight. And that is now how we get to the rematch for the men's championship between Ethan Wild and Craig Opley.
Yeah, I mean, with an I Quit match like this, Ethan Wild certainly looking to solidify himself, but Craig Opley, he has a lot to lose in this one. Xander, who do you think takes the W tonight?
Once again, I'm left with a rough choice here. I want to say that Craig Opley takes it. I think that Craig Opley wants to regain his face of the company status. You like, either way, you're risking someone's face of the company status here, right? I just think that Ethan Wild at 10-17 can risk it a little bit more, and giving it back to Craig Opley, who is the face, who is the 4-4 in this, core match. It could be super hype. This could be the kind of 6-star match you get where everybody benefits. I see this as being kind of a Hail Mary for Craig here, and that my hope would be that it works out for him.
See, I appreciate everything you just said, but I know Walter. Walter loves a good heel. Ethan Wild went peak heel earlier tonight, and I don't think he's going down. Walter, which of us is right tonight?
So, Xander, what if I told you that other than the Mildred S. Robinson Cup and the Theodore Vincent Heritage title, every champion in my promotion was a heel?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's right. Ethan Wild's going to take this home.
Yep.
There it is. Look at that I Quit match. It's 5.25 star, one of the higher matches that you've had tonight. A nice boost for Ethan Wild. Craig Opley, obviously a little over in his hurt, but he gains the morale boost, no longer on the path to being a face of the company. But look at that, another holy shit moment. Your 6th of the night, I believe. Ethan Wild jumping onto Craig Opley in a pile of electrical equipment, driving the fans crazy. So, it may not have been quite as many stars as you were hoping for tonight, Walter, but it was certainly a profitable card. And you're going to end with 5 stars, which is hardly a bad performance, even if it's not going to look great.
And with 5 stars with a 3-star projection segment and a fucking squash match.
Yeah, well, those 2 got dropped, right? If we understand the way the scoring works, which for the record we don't, but if we did...
Wait, we dropped 2?
Yeah, because you dropped 20% of the matches, allegedly, according to the developer. Now, I didn't want to say this earlier, Walter, but we started to do some rescoring before we confirmed how things work, and you were negatively affected at least twice in the tests that we did before we realized we needed more developer insight. So this makes sense given what the developer told us. There are other things that don't. We will have to wait and see what ultimately happens from here. But for now, 5 star isn't bad, huh?
Let's wait till 2 weeks from now for the next for School's Out. That's all I have to say. Just wait for the next one.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. But I'm also looking forward to us taking a quick break at the moment. We're going to put everything on mute and go refresh ourselves before we head into my card, actually, because compared to Xander, our winner during the weeklies, I came up a little bit short, regardless of what we both agree maybe should have happened given the cards that were done. So we'll go there. We'll be back. Stay tuned, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second half of our bronze promotion tonight. So far, we have seen Eduardo blow everyone away with a 5.5-star card with hype match after hype match. Meanwhile, we watched Walter with a few matches that the game was not nearly as kind to in the ratings department as it was elsewhere, but still a solid 5-star card, getting a few key people over as he heads into the next pay-per-view. But it is now up to myself and Xander to see if anyone can challenge Eduardo for the top card of the night.
I'll do it, don't worry.
Oh, you're that confident, huh?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Well, I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you. As you can see from my one creativity point, I spent pretty much everything I had to bring up Arsenico, who debuted during this last set of weeklies, and to upgrade my production facility. So I have as many matches as Eduardo did. In fact, everyone tonight is going to have 12 matches except for Walter, who had 10. He'll be leveling up his production facility between now and the next pay-per-view, I am sure.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, it seems to be very much in play, especially with the number of holy shit moments you had tonight. That said, I had to make some cuts. I don't have, for the first time, I think, in a pay-per-view title, not all of my matches have gimmicks. I simply could not afford to give all my matches gimmicks. But what Walter will be very proud of is I have created a narrative Bible. I have been inspired, Walter, to flesh out my plans for the Magically Enhanced Wrestling promotion. And while this event was kind of booked before I fully fleshed these ideas out, a lot of the core concepts that are going to define what Magically Enhanced Wrestling has to offer are going to start tonight. So I'm very excited to present that to the fans, and we will see.
Listen, I'm not surprised you haven't had a narrative Bible prior to now, because a narrative Bible isn't in an Excel spreadsheet. It's usually like a Word document with outlines and stuff. So I'm glad that you have now finally learned how to use Google Docs.
Look, man, the spreadsheet was cool. I just sent you the Google Doc in case you're curious. I think the Google Doc is also very cool. I haven't quite finished yet.
Brilliant.
But,
Brilliant.
I'm pretty happy with what I have planned. I think Xander's going to be very happy with what I have planned. And also a little bit mad at a meme that I will bring to life at some point in time. But for now, we're skipping over these predictions. Who needs them? We go immediately into a 9-way match between all of the women on my card who I couldn't get into a match elsewhere. I like I said, this was made before I had my Bible here, but I wanted everyone to be included. I think it's important to make everyone on the card feel heard, at least for this pay-per-view. I may be changing that mentality moving forward. But certainly a lot of talented people here. You got Skull Tabaka, 4-3, who would be desperate for a nice win here. Tilly Cooper, the authoritarian patriot, the one heel who is present within the Sky Sentinels. Briar Allison, a 4-4 face who would love to get a larger push. Viuda Negra, very close to getting over with the fans, would love a win here tonight. Kagetsi, the killer, 1 point away from being a main eventer. Wendy Blake, a member of the Chosen Ones, who, as everyone knows, the Chosen Ones need to become main eventers overall if I'm going to make my company happy with me. And how can we forget Denise Weston, also a member of the Chosen Ones, and Malachite Bronson and Cyan Orion, the two members of Shooting Stars, I believe, a tag team that would love some love tonight. Walter, given this eclectic group of women, who do you think I gave the W to?
Yeah, let me just open this Bible real quick. And no, I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to cheat. Can I see Vidua Negra real quick?
Of course.
Yeah, give me Viuda Negra. Let me get her 80% overall, make her a 4-3. She's got a 7-match losing streak, but she is a main eventer. That's my choice.
I think that's a fair choice. Xander, do you agree?
Listen, I called the snap her losing streak last week. I'm calling it again, okay? I want to see Viuda Negra snap that losing streak. I think she's got a lot of talent. I think there's a lot of value there. And I'd like to see her finally get the dub here.
Well, you know, some announcer tables would pick different people when there's 9 competitors, just to make sure that there's a chance that one of them gets through. But you know what? Those announcers will be fucking cowards, because it is Viuda Negra. You're 100%
Let's go.
correct.
Let's go.
And look at that. The 5% overness boost is exactly what I needed. She is over with the fans. A nice win for Scourge of the Underdark, who now have another hot member. And 4 3/4 stars for a match without any gimmicks, I'm taking as a win. Sorry, Kagetsi. Better luck next time. Hate seeing the double-digit popularity loss, but you know what? Fuck it. Viuda Negra's a 4-3. I'm calling that a win tonight.
That's a big dub.
And speaking of big dubs, we have a Battle Royale match between the men who could not fit elsewhere on the card. You might be asking, Chase, why did you spend 25 creativity points on a Battle Royale match when you could have spent those points giving other matches that don't have a gimmick? And to that I say, I couldn't figure out where else to put these guys. But you know what? There are a lot of talented guys here on this card. Fuerza de Dragon. A very talented 4-4 face who would love to give the Eastern Elite a much-needed win. Asher Collins, and in fact, both members of the Hall of Ashes duo, very hungry for a W tonight. Shane Mack owns this business. Joey Smoking Gun Ace, someone who both of the people on this call have been waiting for me to give a win to for a while now. You know, Mikey Dolan, Sammy Everald, Evan Zane, DJ Vector, the Betrayer, an 18-year-old face, 4-3. Vinny Stacks, Miracle Oda, the heroic mythical being who's been on a tear despite not quite becoming a main eventer yet. Ezekiel Cross, so damn close to getting over. Johnny Scott just got over with his new attractive singer gimmick. And who can forget Lucas Meltzer, Zero to Hero, the guy that Xander has been pulling for so long, finally getting his first win on the go-home show before Final Destination tonight. Obviously, plenty of talent people here. I can't name them all without boring the folks at home. So I'll just kind of hover over these last few. Including, I have to name Victor Magnus, the 4-4 heel, 27-year-old, who leads the Southern Sentries. And a faction leader would love to secure a win tonight and keep pushing himself up the card. But Xander, so much talent here. Who do you think's taking the W?
It's not who I think, it's who I'm rooting for, and you know the answer. You know the answer, Chase. There is one person on this card I'm rooting for. I don't care that he's a 687. I don't care that he's a 687. It's the guy I want to see move up the card, and his name starts with an L and ends with a Meltzer, okay? Lucas Meltzer. That's who I want to see get the dub here. Yes, you got Victor, who probably will win, or maybe at least get recognized as top 2, but I want to see Lucas Meltzer take the dub.
What about you, Walter? Who do you think's gonna pull this one out?
Doesn't matter who pulls it out. You're gonna hit simulate because I don't see any of this mattering.
Here's the thing. You think it doesn't matter, but what you don't know is that I have a talent request to make sure that DJ Vector does not lose clean until the end of the month. And for that reason alone, DJ Vector, 4 3/4 star match, excuse me, makes the feud here hot. We have 3 different gimmicks that have increased their overness by +5, which you love to see. You also love to see a Battle Royale holy shit moment. DJ Vector slapping the taste out of Asher Collins' mouth gives each of them a nice overness bonus, and a Battle Royale getting a nice bit of experience there as well. So, DJ Vector, look, I had a job to do. I did the job. Hopefully everybody else benefits from a match like this.
Well, you clearly didn't do the job, because if he did a job, Vector would have lost, so...
Well, no, because then I would have made him unhappy, because he would have failed my management gimmick.
Yeah, but if he did a job, he would have lost. That's what doing a job means. It means you're a jobber.
Wow, okay. Well, you know what? That's on me for being imprecise with my vernacular. But DJ Vector's going to win anyway. And we're going to move on here to a blow-off match for a main event push between John Sanake and Evan Zane. John Sanake, of course, a member of Savage Vengeance from the Southern Centuries, a high tier heel tag team who for a while there was just absolutely tearing it up in every match they could get their hands on. But of course, Evan Zane, who is himself a member of a tag team, Unlimited, which, has been trying to climb its way up the card. Savage Vengeance beat Unlimited in a feud recently, but Evan Zane hoping to at least get some of that back by beating John Sanake tonight. I will turn to you, Xander. Which of these two competitors do you think is emerging victorious?
If I had to pick between Evan and John, I'm picking Evan. I think Evan is the one that you have your eye on in this promotion. I think Evan's 19 years old. He's one win away from being a main eventer. And John can take the loss. John's happy. John's, morale is high. Overness is high. Isn't it really in danger of going below the popularity threshold? 3 losses isn't anything terrible in how we've had to run our promotions with the number of wrestlers we have. I think you give it to Evan here. I think it's pretty clear cut.
Do you agree with that, Walter?
I know you love your baby faces, and I know you love some party style. So give it to Evan Zane.
I do love my strong face as a 19-year-old face. More specifically, I just think Jan Sanake is going to do just fine with Savage Vengeance. But this is what I was hoping for, which is both of them getting a boost. A 5.5-star match. There we fucking go. You love a feud that benefits both of them. Evan Zane propelling himself into the main event. A hot match. It does blow off the feud, which is unfortunate, but it needed to happen. It's a 5-star feud ender here. And Evan Zane hitting Jan Sanake with a hard headbutt that almost knocks both of them out. That's the kind of overness boost that gets both of these guys. And that levels up my main event ready feuds in the future, which, oh boy, do I plan on using a few more of those as we move forward. So I'm very happy with how this match turned out. Now, we have our Jester's Joust Championship. And y'all might be expecting the Chosen Ones, who of course lost their title and would love to reclaim it. But the thing is that the Chosen Ones have other objectives tonight. They have individual members who each have their own way that they need to go. We saw Denise Weston earlier, but now that leaves Liquid Steel and Larger Than Life, who right now both members primarily of the Eastern Elite. Liquid Steel does have one member in Jay Xavier, who is a member of the Western Watch. They are the only tag or trio in my company that currently have members in 2 different factions. Whether or not that will always remain true, I suppose we will have to wait and see. But Larger Than Life, they're here. They've been working hard. Ali Noble, Matthew Donovan, Michael Himalayan, they have each been climbing bit by bit, step by step, all very talented wrestlers who would love to prove that they deserve to be title contenders. So, the question is Larger Than Life good enough to take the title just 1 month after Liquid Steel claimed it? Or does Liquid Steel hold on against their faction mates? Mostly faction mates, I should say. Walter, who do you think I gave it to?
Now listen, Chase, if you learned anything from me besides narrative storytelling, you've learned you need lengthy title reigns. No reason for Larger Than Life to take this off of Liquid Steel after a month. Keep it on Liquid Steel.
Do you agree with that, Xander?
Yeah, I think it stays on Liquid Steel here. Larger Than Life are cool and all, but I think Liquid Steel hold it.
Yeah, Liquid Steel do indeed hold it. And it's going to be a 4 3/4 star match. An overness hit to Larger Than Life that I was not expecting. But at least the feud seems to have gone all right. Jay Xavier starting to get over with fans. We see a couple gimmicks continuing to progress, which you love to see. No holy shit moment. A moderate boost to the Jester's Joust Championship. I'm going to have to take it, There was no gimmick here, and I knew that was going to have an effect on the quality of the match overall. I hate to see Larger Than Life take the hit that they did, but at the end of the day, Liquid Steel deserve to be main eventers. They deserve to get the win here tonight, and they have indeed claimed it. Now, what that means for Larger Than Life has yet to be seen, because, you know, you have to imagine, right? You know, so far, everybody in this company has a faction, except for one person who's going to try to change the way that all of this is done. And we will see whether Larger Than Life is happy living in Liquid Steel Shadow in the long run. But we do move on for now. I told you that the Chosen Ones had other things to do. Flying High with Aihakai and Davida. Davida, of course, being the member of the Chosen Ones, trying to reclaim the title against Rude Awakening and Overflow. Rude Awakening, of course, are our current title holders. They're the first Keepers of the Realm to hold it for more than one pay-per-view, thanks to Alana Elise and Tijuana King. A neutral tag team, both members of Scourge of the Underdog, but Alana Elise had that face turn early on. It has led people to wonder, how well do these two really work together? The answer so far has been quite well. They're 3-0 as a duo, but at some point, something might have to give. And Overflow are certainly hoping it bends in their favor. Kaihon Ki and Hana Hukawa, they are not the greatest workers out there. They're not the most popular out there, but they are two performers who have a lot of pressure on them. The Scourge of the Underdark does not put up with mediocrity for very long. And if they can't make a statement tonight, who knows how long they're going to be welcome here as the duo that they are. So the stakes are clear. The match is set. Xander, who do you think I gave the win to?
I think that tonight, the win is going to none other than Flying High.
Giving it to the face. Okay. What about you, Walter?
I'm really going to agree. I think it goes back to Flying High. You know, Rude Awakening has won 3 matches in a row. And just Overflow, like Overflow isn't even on my radar. I don't necessarily know why they're in here. But yeah, I'm going to agree. Give it to Flying High here.
I'm glad y'all are in agreement with me, because I am giving it to Flying High. Look at that. It's a 5.25 star match. Everybody getting over. Everybody getting a morale boost, except for Rude Awakening. But even then, minus 3% is nothing when both of them are at 100%. This does blow off a feud between Overflow and Flying High, which needed to be done. It's a feud starter between Rude Awakening and Flying High. But I have to say, Aihakai getting an overness boost, a hot match here, very nice to see. Keepers of the Realm, they do not like how short this reign was. I didn't think with 3 title defenses it was that short. That's something I'm going to have to live with. But you know what else people are going to have to live with is the sight of Tijuana King and Alana Elise fighting after this match is done. Tijuana King just tearing into Alana. She is not happy that she is no longer a title holder. She clearly blames her partner Alana for getting pinned here. Flying High, you could tell, just trying not to let that distraction prevent them from celebrating their title. A big win for Davida and Aihakai tonight. But Rude Awakening, it did not take a lot for that powder keg to get set off, and we will have to see what that means for Magically Enhanced Wrestling moving forward. But for now, we move on to the Flame Warlock Championship, and what a match we have for you today. Prince Pretty Pink desperately trying to, in this pseudo leadership role with El Rey Loco, the faction leader of the Western Watch, out of commission. Prince Pretty Pink has had to step up, and after some early losses that were some real setbacks, forcing him out of face of the company status, he has climbed his way back in, but it has not come without making some rivalries here, all of which against people who are, heels that would love to take him down. Alpha Jackson, the second in command for the Southern Sentries, peak masculinity, the 19-year-old 4-4 would love to get a title of his own. La Bestia del Infierno was a huge force in this company. He was the original Flame Warlock Championship and only just lost it to Prince Pretty Pink. And of course, El Muerte Blanco. He is the face of the company. He is a wrestler with a morale that would love a win right about now, who believes that he should be a title holder. He believes that this championship is beneath him, frankly. but he just wants a title. And if he's not getting another match against Fishbone because he lost that feud, he will take out his aggression on Prince Pretty Pink. And so, with that all set, who do you guys think is my champion? I will go to you first, Xander. Who do you think I'm giving this one to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn here. Again, I like Prince Pretty Pink. I honestly want to see Prince Pretty Pink keep it. I think you do that. I think you keep it on him for now. It's only been 2 wins, I believe, since he last had it. I'm correct? Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
he's defended it successfully a whole
yes,
once.
Yes, a whole once. So again, I think. Listen, I called for him when he won it. I called for him to defend it last time. I think we all did. I'm calling for him to defend it again. I think it's too much, too early. And right now, you want to propel that dude like a rocket. Stonks go moon. You know what I'm saying? Like it Prince Pretty Pink. It's time. Look at him next to everybody. He's got the flair. All right, he's got the talent, and he's gonna be drop kicking some people here tonight.
He sure hopes that that's going to be the case. Walter, do you agree with Xander's assessment?
You know, I feel like you've hyped it up quite a bit here. It does feel like, maybe this is El Muerto Blanco's to win. I also like Prince Pretty Pink, but this is the risk here. You got 2 guys that are in the middle of fighting to be faces of the company. Prince Pretty Pink just getting there, La Bestia del Inferno being there for 3 months. I don't think Alpha Jackson wins this. I don't think there's any chance that he wins it. But I think you have a story to tell. I'm gonna say El Muerto Blanco.
Here's the thing, El Muerte Blanco wants it real bad, but right now, here's the thing. El Muerte Blanco, it looks for a moment there that he's going to take the win, but La Bestia del Infierno takes him out. His faction mate, someone who at one point was a second in command within the Northern Nightmare, has taken out his faction leader, given Prince Pretty Pink an opportunity, and he is going to pin Alpha Jackson to retain his title. And look at that match, a morale boost for everybody. Thank goodness when it comes to El Muerte Blanco. I was a little bit worried about him taking another morale hit. Not a problem. Everybody gets a popularity boost. Everybody gets a morale boost. Only 4 3/4 stars, which I'm a little questioning here. But, I didn't have a gimmick. I didn't have the money for a gimmick. But it blows off a feud between Alpha Jackson and Prince Pretty Pink at 5 1/4 star. That needed to be blown off. It's a nice boost for the Flame Warlock Championship as Prince Pretty Pink maintains his hold over it. But more importantly, there seems to be a real disconnect between members of the Northern Nightmare. La Bestia del Infierno stopping El Muerte Blanco from a championship win. The two of them are arguing intensely as they head backstage. And we will have to see what this means for that faction coming up on Wild Magic next week. But we have to move on for now because with the title matches keep on a-rolling with a King of the Thunderdome Championship. Ashton Nieves, the second in command for the Northern Nightmare, the buzzsaw of the Magically Enhanced Wrestling promotion, has maintained this title basically since its inception. He did not win the very first pay-per-view, I don't believe. He lost in the first pay-per-view, but immediately won it at Firestorm and has retained it ever since. Successful defenses at each of these last pay-per-views since. And he's been doing so against some top-tier talents. Gavin Smith, a 4'4", 806 popularity, 27-year-old heel who just got his first win very recently against Monty Hendricks. The gift from God as far as he's concerned. A 4'4" face who would love nothing more than to get himself over with the crowd. And who can forget Eli Chaos? Eli, the second in command for the Eastern Elite. Someone who has watched Fishbone ascend to great heights as the Sorcerer Supreme and believes that he, too, must prove himself in a match such as this. That's the only reason you throw yourself into the buzzsaw that is Ashton Nieves. The question is anyone here capable of taking Ashton out in this steel cage match? Xander, I'll start the question with you.
I don't think they are. I just don't think they are. I think Ashton Nieves is gonna continue the streak here, and maintain this for now. I like Eli, I like Gavin, but again, you're looking at these guys. A lot of them are eating losses, and Ashton has the most upside to continue his trajectory. I can see an argument for maybe one of these guys finally getting a win and moving up, but Ashton's only been in face of the company status for a month. And I don't see you wanting to risk that so early, especially because, as we've seen, when you risk the belt specifically for one of these guys at that level, it is a genuine risk. You've seen people drop 40 and 50 popularity, right? So, for me tonight, you do the safe thing. You keep it on Ashton, and maybe you give some of these guys matches within each other. One of them comes out, and at the next pay-per-view or the one after that, they're going to be the one to rip it off of Ashton.
I mean, that is the great question here is when that time comes. Walter, do you agree? Is this time for Ashton Nieves to retain, or do you see a challenger that you think deserves the title?
No, I agree with Xander here. I do think it is not worth the risk to lose that face of the company, check mark on Ashton Nieves.
Yeah, Ashton, look, he needs to prove himself. La Bestia del Infierno is hot on his heels. And look at that. It's a 5.5-star match. A very important match for me as I try to at least stem the bleeding that is likely to follow from this particular card. It is a big win here for Ashton. A little bit of a popularity hit to each of our performers, but only Gavin takes an overness hit. Everyone else still gets morale boost because we have oh, that was the last match, actually. Look, a holy shit moment. There we go. My third holy shit moment of the night. Ashton Nieves hitting Gavin Smith with a crossbody off the top of the cage. You do love to see that. You love to see King of the Thunderdome. This reign continues to give some nice bonuses. Ashton has proven that he deserves the belt. Now, this does move Gavin Smith down the card. He is now an upper mid-carder. He will need another win to get back in the main event status, and that is indeed a bummer. As is Eli Chaos, the second in command for the Eastern Elite. That's a hit that he didn't want to take, but you can't stop the buzzsaw that is Ashton Nieves, and we'll see what it will take to unseat him in the future. But for now, it comes to the Defenders of the Realm Championship between the Magic Missiles and Highway Robbery. Highway Robbery, huge win streak. Lost the initial match against Magic Missiles, but then won the title after the Magic Missiles were injured by them and defended it 4 times in a row. Before the Magic Missiles returned, it took them a match. They needed to warm themselves up, but they were able to maintain it. They were able to take their title back. So you have 2 teams, both of them great records, a lot of talent in this match. Yellow Arrow and Red Arrow obviously would love to keep this on them, but Rob DiBiase and Connor Hansen, I mean, they are some Cowboy specialists who would love to take their title back. Walter, is this Highway Robbery's time to shine, or do you think the Magic Missiles are able to maintain their title?
Listen, the Magic Missiles are getting revenge for, I believe it was Red Arrow that was the one that was hurt. There's no chance that Highway Robbery wins this one.
Do you agree with that, Xander?
I do. I think Walter nailed it. I think that's where it's going.
Yeah, it would be weird to give it to Highway Robbery. It is a nice win for the Magic Missiles. Again, no gimmick here, so I think a 5-star match feels really good. It's a huge overness boost for the Magic Missiles. A overness hit to Highway Robbery, but they had some points to spare. So I think that's a worthwhile trade. We love to see these gimmicks progress. No gimmicks regressed, which is nice to see. No holy shit moment, but a nice boost for the Defenders of the Realm Championship. And look at that, both of these championships well on their way to becoming Gold Star championships in their own right. I've done it. I've protected those Silver Star championships as much as I can. Sorry, Keepers of the Realm, but these other ones I needed to protect. And so far, these long reigns have done so. So congrats to the Magic Missiles. We will have to wait and see what kind of team it takes to take down the Magic Missiles, because right now they look unstoppable. But
Indeed.
they go backstage, And Magic Missiles, they're tired. They've just fought Highway Robbery in an exhausting match. And Judgment Day catches him off guard and beats the crap out of him with an after-match attack. They're going to immediately leave the ring. They've struck and they're leaving now. But oh boy, does Judgment Day want to make sure that they're not going anywhere. And I definitely didn't do this after-match attack just because everyone in Judgment Day was at risk of getting injured if I were to do a fight with them. No siree, Bob. This after-match attack was definitely the way I wanted things to go. But hey, it's a 3.25 star, 3/4 star. It's the thing that's going to get dropped. I'll take it. But we've got 3 matches left. And it starts with the Frost Witch Championship. Ariana Black, make him see black. She is undefeated in this promotion so far. A 4-4 24-year-old heel who has proven time and time again she knows how to make him see black, and no one has come close to unseating her except for Duka Igarashi. Duka Igarashi, of course, a member of the Chosen Ones, a 4-4 face in her own right, someone who has climbed up the ladder and has proven to be able to beat some very talented opponents along the way for her journey. Of course, there's also Mistress Jade, the 25-year-old 4-4, who has shed the dead weight that is Kaio Jade, who will be leaving this company in a few months and will not be seen until she is gone. She shed that dead weight, stopped being a part of Jade Empire, and has proven herself in several singles matches. Even if she's taken a couple L's recently, she has proven that she is quite the force to be reckoned with. And of course, Sumi Kubaya, I mean, she hasn't won a match yet. She sure does need a win under her belt. But a 4-4 face that the fans love to see, love to root for regardless. You know there'd be a big pop-off if she's able to pull off the upset. That said, I think it's a little bit of a 2-horse race here. Xander, who do you think I gave it to?
Ooh, you know, I'm really torn whether or not you'd want Ariana to continue her reign here. I don't know. It's so close, in my opinion, for, you know, running her further and further and further. Man, yeah, I'm gonna say she keeps it. I'm gonna say she keeps it for one more title defense. This is the bronze pay-per-view. Maybe there's something close that happens, but I think it gets ripped off of her at a bigger one. Not tonight.
That's a very interesting theory. Walter, what do you think's gonna happen tonight?
Listen, this is basically the same argument as Ashton Yavis, right? Like, Ariana Black is building up to being a face of the company. You know, 30 points in, maybe you can get away with it. But the other 3 are all pretty much the same. None of them really stand out yet at this point. So I say you just keep it with what's working, and you know, you said you've got a new narrative Bible here, so build up a story, give us something really compelling for that gold pay-per-view to finally get it off of her.
Look, it is quite the match here. Duka Igarashi is going to give it her all, but it is Ariana Black. She makes him see black one more time, and look at that! That is a 6 3/4 star match!
Almost a 7-star match.
Almost.
Jesus Christ.
Man, if only that was my main event, I might actually stand a chance if it was doubled. But, oh boy, will I take it anyway. Look, Sumi, she's taking an overdose hit because she's lost 7 in a row. But who fucking cares? I mean, what an incredible rated match. Somehow, not a hot match. Nothing here to see. Not even a holy shit moment. It's just people who are that goddamn talented in a Frostwitch Championship. We are seeing this reign continue for Ariana Black. She feels unbeatable, but you can see it in Duka's eyes. She is hungry to prove herself. She is ready to show that she deserves to get a title at one point. And maybe with Mistress Jade acting on Ariana Black's behalf, it is hard to beat 2 high-quality heels at once. So we'll have to see. Maybe at Bonds of Destiny, she gets the one-on-one match that she's looking for. But for now, you gotta be happy if you're Ariana Black. She has continued to prove herself time and time again. But we move on to the Sorcerer Supreme Championship. Just 2 matches left, 2 gold star belts on the line. And you see Fishbone, of course, who won this belt off of El Muerte Blanco and has defended it successfully once since. You have Derek Nash, a guy I don't think a lot of fans were expecting to be in this match. He is a Northern Nightmare head, of course, and he is someone that I think has a lot of upside, but he seems to have been thrown in here because El Muerte Blanco took Prince Pretty Pink status as the Flame Warlock personally. He can't compete for this, so he just sent some guy to go take it for him. And Derek Nash, the Extreme King, he wants it. He wants it bad. But is he ready for this kind of stage? That has yet to be seen. But the thing that I think a lot of people are going to be focused on here is Arsenico, Mr. Arsenic, the newest member of the Magically Enhanced Wrestling Company. I mean, Arsenico came in and he had to face 6 other wrestlers, 1 from each other faction, and the rules were clear. If he lost, he joined the faction of whoever won that match, and Arsenico beat them all. He proved he does not need a faction. He is not beholden to the gimmicks that everyone else has held on to so tightly. He believes he can do it without it. And he is here tonight. He has fought his way into this match because he believes he deserves to be here. Xander, I turn to you. Do you think that the title is changing hands tonight?
I don't. I'm going to be honest. I think Fishbone's holding it again. 2 wins. I think Fishbone keeps it right now. I think you've got a lot of building going on. I think it makes sense that at this bronze pay-per-view, it's a lot of title defenses, albeit with some pretty hype matches. But I think it's another title defense here.
Do you agree, Walter?
Well, no, I don't.
Interesting.
I think Arsenico does win it. Because you've teased a little bit of your plans to me. And I think that your plans, while Fishbone does need it for the face of the company status, I don't think it's going to hit him too hard. I think for your plans, having a belt on Arsenico would be very persuasive.
Here's the thing. I agree with you that it would be. But he has to earn it. He's been at this promotion for less than a month, Walter. He's not ready yet. Fishbone's going to catch him off here. But it's a 5 1/4 star match. It's a match that gets everyone more over than they were. And in fact, Arsenico is about to get over with the fans. So clearly put on quite a show himself. Derek Nash getting a nice boost as well. This is a match in which everyone is better for having participated in it. And it does start a feud between Fishbone and Arsenico. He's not going to take the win the first time around. But you are right. There is a seed that is planted, which is that despite not having a faction, there is no member of this 6-tier world that has been created in Magically Enhanced Wrestling that was able to take him down. And without any of that support, he still stood his own against Fishbone in this match. And I think that's going to grab a lot of people's attention. I think there's a lot more you're going to see from Arsenico. And stay tuned to the next Wild Magic show, because I think Arsenico might have a new gimmick on his hands. Even though he just got over, and I usually don't worry about spending a gimmick package on someone who's over, Arsenico's got plans. And he is not done yet. Not by a long shot. But for now, we move on to the Sorceress Supreme Championship. Emu Amikio, she held it for so long. She was the first to win this title. She was ready, she was prepared, and she did her goddamn best. But despite her 3 defenses, she ended up losing it at Mana Unleashed. She has not been able to win it back since. Meanwhile, Lorena, she took 3 losses early on. It took her a while to build herself up to this position, but she has indeed fought her way into stardom. She is now on her way to being a face of the company at the expense of Emu Amikio, who at one point was herself on the way to being a face of the company. This is going to be her 3rd pay-per-view in which she tries to hold Amu off with a tables match here tonight. So, Walter, I ask you, does Lorena hold on, or does Amu prove that this belt should have remained hers all along?
Man, it feels so early for somebody to have a second title reign. But, I mean, yeah, can you really afford to lose 4 times in a row? But Lorena's right there trying to become a face of the company, and if she loses, then she might lose it. I think this has to be the finisher, right? This has to be the end of this feud.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to Lorena, have her push Emiko back down the card, and have somebody else ready to challenge her at the next pay-per-view.
I can confirm this is indeed the end of this feud. Xander, with that knowledge, do you agree with Walter?
I think Lorena wins the feud, and it closes out here with her taking the dub, winning over Amu, and, you know, again, maintaining her position.
Well, I have to say, I agree with y'all completely. It is Lorena's here to win. It's a tough loss for Amu, but look at that, a 6 1/4 star match as the match that's getting doubled. Oh boy, did I need that. Amu, of course, it's an overness hit, and she's going to be bummed by that, but it's a morale boost, so it's fine. Because ultimately, this is a huge win for Lorena Lucia. That is a 6-star feud blow-off. It is a holy shit moment as Lorena Lucia refused to give up, crawling around for 2 minutes in Amu Mikio's submission. You love to see that. You love to see such a big boost for the Sorceress Supreme, for the table matches. Obviously, Greatest Wrestler feud was already there, but man, oh man, did I need that to get a good score tonight. And let's just see, what did I manage to pull off despite this limited budget? 5 1/4. I'm okay with that. I did not have high expectations going in, but the right matches ended up coming through for me in the clutch. The fact that I had the 6 3/4 star and I had a 6 1/4 that got doubled really saved my ass from a card that did not have a lot of money behind it. The holy shit moments. I'm now back at a respectable 341 creativity points before the Grand Invitational. And man, oh man, I'm not going to win tonight, but I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Well done.
That's a very good card. Very, very good card.
But it does mean Eduardo remains in the lead. There is only one person left who can challenge him for a point for tonight's pay-per-view. But of course, I think it is worth noting, right? We are going to give a point to whoever wins the Grand Invitational tonight as well. It is entirely random. There's no way for us to gamify that for our own amusement. But somebody is going to pull off that point. We will have to see as we move on. But right now, there's one left for the pay-per-view. Burn It All Down from Glory of Legends. You have a faction who shares that name, I believe. What can people expect tonight, then?
Let's be honest, all right? Burn it all down, okay? That's what we're doing tonight. It is the end of the Empire feud coming to a close this evening, all right? You have 2 massive factions, the greatest, the largest faction against the hottest faction, okay? Pun intended, all right? You've got matches featuring hang times. You've got matches featuring all of the faction leaders. You've got matches here featuring some of our most impressive talent. Despite this being a bronze card, you could easily think that this is a silver or a gold pay-per-view when you look at the matches we have lined up tonight. And all that's left is for these wrestlers to come out and perform and show off who's going to take home the wins, who is going to be handing their opponents the losses, and who is going to be leaving with some big time injuries, because that's also been the name of the game for the last 3 weeks. So that being said, without further ado, let's get into it.
Absolutely. Let's make it happen. And look at that. Burn It All Down. That's quite a nice poster. We're going to skip these predictions because who cares what the writers think? What we care about is this Battle Royale match. It is quite the list here of people, both men and women, including Kenny Diaz, who I thought was persona non grata in this company. Xander, how did this match come together?
It's really simple, okay? We have a lot of folks on the lower end of our card here, but again, they've been putting in the work in the weeklies. All of them are improving. All of them are getting better. There's a couple of folks here that are very clearly a little bit head and shoulders above the rest. All right, you see Christian Quinn, you see Colin Torwell, you see Dietrich Mullen, and you see Rich Larson. Those 4 names have been coming with a lot of big matches in the lower mid-card for our promotion here. Simultaneously, you got a guy that was once on top, who started on top, and has only been falling, free-falling, getting smashed over the head by every single person that's run into him. So tonight, the name of the game is to let all of these folks down here beat senselessly Kenny Diaz, okay? And everyone's going to get their opportunity to do so. It's just going to be a matter of who's taking the glory home for this Battle Royale match, who's going to be the one that says, hey, listen, I am the king of this group, and I will be the one moving up to make a real push in this promotion, potentially having the opportunity not just to become an upper mid-carder, but eventually a main eventer.
So, Xander, would you say that this is the Beat Kenny Diaz Battle Royale match?
This is, in fact, the Beat Kenny Diaz Battle Royale match.
I think that's a sentiment we can all get behind. I mean, Walter, given the rundown you just got from Xander, who do you think's going to win this one?
I mean, I think I'm going to be the winner because signing Kenny Diaz is going to be great. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that in a couple of months here.
Wow.
But no, I'm going to say Dietrich Mullen. I always love a Dietrich. It's such a great name, but I do have to wonder, why doesn't he have a gimmick, Xander?
That is I mean, he doesn't need one, I suppose. He's 100% over. Hasn't mattered before.
Listen, hasn't mattered before. All right, other people have been a little prioritized on the front of getting a what's it called, a gimmick going. All right, but again, you got some really talented people here, and not to say, but Paisley Overholt and Callie Vicious are 2 really talented wrestlers too that are on this card. Like I said, I mentioned the 4 big names, but those 2 also have opportunities here to make moves. It's just really a matter. Of course, you're rooting for Dietrich, great one, but Colin, Christian, and Rich are also sitting here on top.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've spent enough time with you in these calls. We've gone through these weeklies together. Dietrich Mullen is the kind of guy, every single match he's been in has gotten hot or gone over with the crowd. He without a gimmick, without any extra bells and whistles, has proven time and time again how capable he is of putting on a good match. I feel like you reward him here. Are we right, Xander?
I believe so.
That is indeed what you said earlier.
Okay, then yes, you're right. That's what I thought.
There we go. It's a 4 3/4 star match. Now it pushes the feud between Paisley Overholt and Christian Quinn to hot, which is nice to see. It blows off the Dietrich Mullen and Bruno Henderson feud, which is the reason why one of those 2 had to win. Now, funnily enough, Kenny Diaz just being included in this match boosted himself to content. So if you wanted to re-sign him, you would be able to do so. He is now in range.
That's crazy.
He's just happy to be here, which is so funny because this all started from him saying, hey, can I take some time off right after he won a title, after the very first pay-per-view.
I hate him more for him being content now. I hate him more. I don't like him less. I hate him more.
Well, the fans like Dietrich Mullen. It's a 4 3/4 star match, and it's a fine way to start a pay-per-view like this. But we now go to the Triple Glory Championship between Brigantia and Young Revolution. How did this match come together, Xander?
Yeah, listen, you got Young Revolution, a new, 3-way tag in here, and they're the new challengers to this belt. Some other stuff has happened with our other triple teams. Menelaus, of course, disbanding, and our Burn It All Down faction 3-way tag is unfortunately not able to wrestle right now because of an injury. So Young Revolution have the best opportunity they will get. They get to go after this belt They get to push Brigantia. And again, you've got Matt Payne, Love Hendricks, and Sinister Tengu saying, you know what? I think we have what it takes to beat these guys. We know these guys. Some of us were in Band of Brigands before, and we know their weaknesses. We know their strengths. We know how to push them.
Well, that does help. Certainly, this is a split of two face trios who would very much like to take home this title. Walter, do you think this is when Brigantia, who are currently 4-0, are finally unseated? Or do you think they're able to maintain their title here tonight?
They absolutely maintain their title. I just don't see Young Revolution, which you're saying is kind of thrust into this position because Burn It All Down is unable to compete due to an injury. I just don't see the reason to take the belt off of Brigantia.
I like Young Revolution. I do. I think that the people in this team who need to get over would benefit so much from a win. Love Hendricks especially. He has earned the right to secure a W at some point in his career, but I think it's a lot to ask tonight against Brigantia, who you have been building up for a while now. Are we right, Xander? Is Brigantia...
You're right. I'm not going to pretend. Brigantia keeps it tonight.
Yeah, they sure do. And look at that. It's a 5.5-star match. A nice overness boost to Brigantia. An overness hit to Young Revolution, which is a damn shame. Lakota Super and Matt Robinson both starting to get over with the fans. And Danny Cole starting that climb, which is very important, I think, at the end of the day. Brigantia, none of them are over yet, but they're all working on it. And meanwhile, no holy shit moment, but a very nice boost for the Triple Glory Championship and a nice boost for elimination matches. I think it'll only take one more decent match for elimination matches to level up to the gold star. So a fine match for this championship here. Got to be happy when you see 5.5 stars.
Yeah, no, we're happy with that. That's our lowest end belt, and Brigantia, they've been holding it. It's a little predictable, but at the end of the day, we're happy to see them making the move. And Young Revolution will have their time. They will have their time.
Yeah, we'll have to see when that time comes, but for now, we've got a 7-way street fight match. How did this match come together, Xander?
Yeah, listen, we've got some important feuds in here that are going on right now. And we have a couple of wrestlers that have been trying to kind of make their move from that lower mid card to that upper mid card. A couple of them see this as their opportunity. Lethal Mark, of course, seeing it as his chance. Xander Cage, Gavin Evans, you got the headhunting feud going down between Bear Winter and what's his face? Sorry, Cassidy. Again, you got a lot going on here. And a lot of folks that are, happy to throw down with each other at every opportunity.
Walter, you said earlier you hope to sign with Xander just to make him pay. Do you think Xander has given Xander a nice push here after an 0-8, or is there someone else that you see who's likely to come away with a win?
I mean, I don't think there's any chance an 0-8 Xander Cage wins here. Let me just be blunt. It's a bummer. I am slightly frustrated, but them's the breaks, and perhaps there'll be somebody else that I eventually poach from his group. Now, Bear Winter is interesting because he is over with the fans, but he is 40 points below from being a main eventer. And I feel like that might be the call here, right? Get him up into main eventer status. A 35-year-old face, not the worst thing. Age, is just a number, but it gets you somebody else in your main event scene that has a pretty good gimmick and is in fact a 4-3 already.
Now, I love Vinland Saga, and I love Bear Winter, and I love Wolf Klein, who I think we'll see later on in this card if he wasn't already in the Battle Royale and I just missed him, which is very possible. That said, I have some inside information that does change the likelihood of results. And that is that Sebastian Chaos is asked not to lose clean in a match. So, are you giving him what he wants, Xander?
Yes, we are. Sebastian Chaos gets what he wants tonight.
And it's going to lead to a 4.25 star. The fans are not thrilled. I imagine it is a blow-off between Conquest and Death and Burn It All Down because you were going to go over later in the night.
I hate that you have to blow stuff off early. Not a fan. Fix that, Joe. Thank you.
Now, I do believe the later matches will still take advantage of the hype that was built, that just the blow-off measurement ends here, unfortunately. Ryan Fox taking the overness penalty as the representative here, which is tough. That brings him down to 60. But you do get your second holy shit moment of the night. Sebastian Chaos hitting Bear Winter with his finisher off the top rope is nice. Conquest or Death dropping reputation after losing the feud, but burned all down, gaining reputation from winning it. This grudge, this, I believe, custom feud, now at Silver Stars. You're almost a gold star on custom feuds, which obviously custom feuds never going to be quite as strong as some of the game-generated feuds, but certainly a lot that you can build off of it, and you have proven time and time again that a good custom feud can go such a long way, especially when factions are involved. So this may not have been the match you were hoping would blow off such a talented and action.
It's all right, just something to keep in mind for next time. I like it. Yeah, it's fine.
But we go on to another 7-way special referee match. If there's anything you know about the glory of Legends promotion, doesn't matter what pay-per-view it is. It could be Bronze Star, it could be Gold Star. You're going to have a lot of multi-man matches. And here's a 7-way special referee match with Johnny Hangtime presiding over this mid-card match. I mean, Xander, talk us through how this match came together.
Yeah, listen, you got Johnny Hangtime here trying to put his thumb on the scale, okay? But in reality, you have a ton of our upper mid-carders and low-end main eventers that have been, putting out huge performances for us. Jaya, of course, probably the most notable one who's on here in terms of losses. 0-7, hasn't gotten the win yet, but has been in some huge matches. Wolf Klein, the other half, him and Bear Winter, right? Here he is, as you said, you knew you'd see him. You've got Krieger, who has been essentially the core lieutenant for Burn It All Down, making big stuff happen. You got Carson Gold, who was kind of on a hot streak and is now on the coldest streak of his career. That being said, he hasn't stopped getting bigger. The fans love him, and every match he's been in has gone hot. So, and then you're pairing that with Maricela Reyes, who, again, another one, despite being 1-7, has propelled herself up the card from that, 600 popularity status. So this is sort of a tale of folks that kind of have done well, regardless of whether they're winning or losing. But they are huge performers, and they have been making every single match count.
Absolutely. I mean, I know who I'm rooting for on this card, but before I weigh in, I want to hear from you, Walter. Who do you think takes the W tonight?
The one that stands out here is Reagan Awesome. If I'm going to be blunt, you got a young baby face already over with the fans, a 4-star, just tipped over. It looks like the last match they had with into a main eventer. And then you do also have Marcela Reyes there that, a little bit more overness. She also would be a 4-3. Xander, I have to ask, do Reagan Awesome and Marcela Reyes have a feud by any chance?
I don't believe Reagan Awesome has a feud with Jaya.
Regan and Wijaya is the feud here. Maricela actually is not feuding with anyone in this match. That may change after this match. But this one is really featuring a couple of other feuds, notably Wijaya's feud. That one's been going for quite a while. It has been hot. And Carson Gold, of course, with his feud, pretty big here. So again, you got a couple of big ones. But no, Maricela does not have a feud with Regan. Though again, that may be set to change for reasons I cannot outline yet until after this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the pressure of a spoiler off of you for a moment here. Because look, I like Regan Awesome. He's done incredible work in my side league that I ruined for the sake of testing things for this one. I like Wijaya, and I think if you were to break his 7-loss streak with a big win here, it would go a long way, make him a main eventer that the people love and can believe in again. But Maricela Reyes, especially with the hints you just gave, I think you prioritize getting her over. That's just the kind of player you've been. Are we right?
With those hints.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. It is Maricela tonight.
Maricela with the win. What a big win for her. That is a 5-star match. A huge overness boost. Carson Gold with an overness drop But Saki Slab also getting a massive overdose boost. We'll have to see how that happened. Maricela Reyes over with the fans. That is big for her. No particular moment here. So I have no idea why.
Well, we'll
Saki
take it.
Slab
I'm not
got
going to
5
complain about
overdose.
it. Thank you, Saki. Good job.
Yeah, apparently the fans just like Saki Slab. I don't know what to tell you. Special referee continues to level up. You are the one company that has really used that special referee slot. But yeah, there's nothing else down here. There's no holy shit moment. There's no feud between like Maricela or Saki Slab. Just people fucking love Saki Slab. I don't know what to tell you.
Great. Fantastic.
I don't understand this game, man. I don't understand how Walter has the matches he did with the score that he got. And you, Saki Slab, losing the match, getting an extra 5 over
Hey,
there.
we don't need to question it. It's fine.
I kind of want to question it, but we do have to move
I
on.
do wonder if it has something to do with that I lost so much early on that you guys have taken a ton of fans. Your hype is always like your hype is just going to be higher because of that. Like it might just be I fucked up too much at the beginning, and now I'm like really playing from behind.
I mean, I will say this. You're definitely playing from behind, but we went over this in a call, so I'm happy to share this with the public. The big difference here is that Xander has blown off like 19 different feuds. So all of his feuds get hot faster, and if they're not working, they're just gone. You've done a slow roll, and a slow roll means that you have fewer chances for a feud to go as hot as some of Xander's feuds have. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. The only thing that happens because you have fewer overall fans is that as a percentage of growth, you're growing to grow a little bit slower, and maybe be a little bit more likely to lose fans if you don't score particularly well. But at the end of the day, if you have a top card and you get some feuds going, you are still very capable. The game does not judge hype based on the reputation of a league. It's just
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, here's what happened, right? He shot 7 people into that fucking match, and one of them went hot. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's all it comes down to. These
Boom!
multi-man
Shotgun.
yeah, these multi-man matches the game seems to like. Not as much when I do them. I'm gonna note that, but you know.
That's fine. Game likes me a little more sometimes. That's okay.
Game does. And let's see if the game continues to like you just a little bit more. You see a triple threat street fight match between the Return to Glory belt, Gaijo Jade, Bone Soldier, General Hayashima. I mean, Xander, how did this match come together?
Yeah, listen, you've got a huge match here. You've got For the People, Burn It All Down, and Conquest or Death all represented here. Gaijo Jade being the one holding the belt right now. General Hayashima, another one of those core lieutenants for Burn It All Down. And Bone Soldier, someone who's been putting in the work for Conquest or Death. You got all 3 of them here. They're ready to beat the crap out of each other. They all want to represent their organizations as best as possible. Gaijo Jade was on one of our largest losing streaks, and then finally got the Return to Glory belt. And in true namesake for that belt is working their way back up, trying to get to where they can contest those face of the companies again and say, you know what? I know that I was taking some hits. I know that I wasn't able to claw after those highest belts, but I'm taking a lower belt and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to build myself up the same way we just watched Vince Rivera do, and I'm going to be the one in these bigger matches soon.
I mean, we're looking at 100% overness, 100% morale for everyone in this match. It says a lot about how much these matches have been able to get over, even as people take loss after loss after loss. Walter, who do you think takes the win tonight?
It's weird here. So Gaijo Jade, you finally gave him a win. They just won the belt. General Hayashima hasn't won in forever. Bone Soldier's down here, but the big thing is Gaijo Jade just won the belt, right? 1 win. That is what their streak is. And I can't see you taking it away from him after 1. So let's just go ahead and leave it on Gaijo Jade for now.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yep.
I don't think you're moving it away from him after a single win. Are we right?
You guys are right. Gaijo Jade's keeping it right now. But
Whoa!
I will say, Let's go. But I will say that this belt, has higher potential for turnover than a lot of our other belts. So, it's really about giving people an opportunity that need some wins and that need to demonstrate that they are still a belt contender. And right now, Gaijo Jade's that guy. But Bone Soldier and General Hayashima, you haven't seen the end of them. You definitely have not seen the end of them. And for this belt, I want this is one of our belts that our promotion looks at, and every single, whether you see it in a weekly, you see it in a bronze pay-per-view, a silver pay-per-view, someone's been holding it for 1 week, been holding it for 1 month, been holding it for 1 year. You have no idea when this thing is making a move.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the payoff for the strategy you had. General Hayashima, 0-7, but 100% over, 100% morale, and he gets a boost in a loss because with so many people at 100% overness and 100% morale, the odds of you getting a hot match just increase substantially. And it does boost them even further, and it adds that plus 10 hype you can see for a hot match. Each hot match adds another 10 hype or more, depending on what's involved here. And I will say, I think of all the people in this competition, Xander, you are the one who understands how to make the most out of game mechanics. Every game that you play, you find the way to min-max, you find the way to exploit the system and get the most out of it. And I think the fact that you have a 0-7, 100% over, 100% morale says a lot about how well you've navigated the mechanics of this game.
League of Legends, thank you. That is all.
It would appear. It would indeed appear. Well, we move on to the tag team belt, which has the Castle Crashers, Oda's Revenge, and Blot Out the Sun. How did this match happen? Talk us through it.
Yeah, so listen, Castle Crashers and Blot Out the Sun are two really solid tag teams. They're here coming after Castle Crashers. Castle Crashers getting the belt not super recently, but not that long ago. DJ Castle and Braden Castle, two guys that individually even push in big matches, but they were the ones who unseated the Hang Times. And right now, they're holding on to this belt for dear life. Okay, simultaneously, Oda's Revenge, members of Juge, or Blot Out the Sun, members of Juge, and Oda's Revenge here, you got super talented guys in both of these tag teams, Yuji Onishi, right, and Kaiman Nomura, and then Blot Out the Sun. They want to make their statement. They want to be the ones that push Castle Crashers off here and give Juge that opportunity to, sort of become in and of its own as a faction. And of course, the Arrows, man, they've taken some hits. They've gotten a win. Individually, they've taken some hits and gotten some wins. But both of these are super close in skill. And despite Castle Crashers being a little bit higher than their opponents, it's nothing that can't be overcome with pure talented wrestling and the fans having your back.
I have to ask, and before I send it over to Walter, this is just a thing that I've realized and I haven't thought to ask you yet. Oda's Revenge. I have a wrestler in my stable called Miracle Oda. Is this name connected in any way? Because you don't have an Oda on your roster. Where did Oda's Revenge come from?
Oda Nobunaga is one of the most prolific military minds in history.
Got it.
In Japanese history. And so both of these wrestlers, Kaiman Nomura and Yuji Onishi, are Japanese from a Japanese promotion. And they here embody Oda Nobunaga's tenacity and tact. Your tactical mind, and that's why I gave them that name. I will say there's a lot of tag team warfare-oriented stuff going on here with Castle Crashers, with Oda's Revenge, and with Blot Out the Sun. Members of Juge, notoriously, right? One of the most famous crossbow instruments in the history of warfare. So, this is kind of a fun side to how our tags are built here in the Glory of Legends promotion. And I'm glad you asked. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to drop that knowledge for you.
Of course. Just so you know, Miracle Oda is going to continue to claim credit for it, but that is good to know. Walter, where do you think the win's going tonight?
Oda's Revenge and Blot Out the Sun, it does seem like a lot of military, particularly like archery references. I do like them quite a lot, but no, I'm going to stick with Castle Crashers here. I'm going to stick with the champs. They've only held it for two, they won and then had one defense keep it on DJ Castle and Braden Castle at this point.
Yeah, you've got this neutral faction that makes it easy for anyone to enter a feud with them. I don't think you're willing to give that up so soon. Are we right, Xander?
You guys are right. Castle Crashers are retaining the belt for now, but I will say, keep an eye on this tag belt. It's been making the move in terms of its popularity in our promotion, and there are more tags on the horizon than ever before. Big stuff is coming for this belt.
Yeah, I mean, we see a big win, 5 3/4 star for the Castle Crashers, full of action. A match that certainly gets the most out of what it has to offer. Unfortunately, Blot Out the Sun, both of their members went out early, which left to an overness decrease for them, which is a damn shame. But I think for 5 3/4 stars, you're willing to look the other way on that, especially when it gets the Tag Belt Championship halfway to gold.
We are indeed.
A huge win there. So we'll see how long Castle Crashers can hold it. But we move on to the Women's Lightweight Championship. And this is a very interesting one to me, because Kurosaru obviously just won the title relatively recently, on her way to being the face of the company with 2 wins. And Jade Gatlin finally got her first win in a while on a recent match. But Emily Everett is here. And anyone who knows Emily Everett and knows what she's capable of has to be terrified a little bit here for Kurosaru. I mean, talk us through this one, Xander.
Yeah, so listen, Kurosaru was the original feud with Emily Everett, right? They were the ones that went at it really hardcore for the belt a while ago, and Emily put her in her place, and then ended up going against, Emu, right? I forget which one I have, because we just talked about yours.
Ume is the one you have.
Ume, not Emu. Ume Amiko. And so right now, Emily's kind of trying to find her footing. She hasn't been in this position. She's on a two match loss streak, and she's here thinking to herself, I should be wrestling Johnny Hangtime. I should be pushing any Hangtime brother out of their position, but simultaneously, this is the first time she's ever experienced defeat, and she's got to figure out what that means for her and find her key to success. Simultaneously, Kurosaru says, oh, well, I'm the one holding this belt now. It's not the belt you were holding. It's not the heavyweight belt. It's the lightweight belt, but it doesn't matter. This is the first time that you have wanted something I have, and I am going to hold that over your head far greater than you can imagine. Simultaneously, Jade has been in matches with both of these wrestlers. Jade is someone who took a ton of losses against Emily as the 3rd and 4th person in matches. A ton of losses against Kurosaru as the 3rd and 4th person. So Jade is sitting here saying, hey, don't you people count me out. I've tasted victory. I know what it looks like now, and I'm coming because I want to demonstrate that I'm someone that should be holding the belt.
Quite the card in front of us for what is a lightweight championship in theory. Walter, who are you giving the nod to?
Here's the thing. Kurosaru, I know she's got two wins in a row. She is the title holder. She just started to secure her spot as a face of the company, and I really don't want to risk it here. I think you need to build her up a couple more wins before Jade Gatlin can take the belt off of her. And I think Emily Everett, you need to get her out of this feud and into your main title picture. So I'm going to go the victor, Kurosaru.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is hard if you're Emily Everett. If you're losing to Kurosaru, how do you get Johnny Hangtime to agree to a match with you? That is something that she will have to deal with. That's something she will have to face. But I don't think you're taking it off of Kurosaru, especially when she's just 1 month into becoming a main eventer in her own right.
And you're totally right. Kurosaru gets her first ever win over Emily Everett. And much to the crowd's surprise, as you can see with that 5 3/4 star match, Emily taking a hit, but she's got to find her footing. And it's really on her to do that. Listen, we at the promotion here love Emily. We support her. But Emily's got to figure out what's going to work for her going forward. And right now, she hasn't been able to do it. Kurosaru, on the other hand, has. And she knows that she is now a force to be reckoned with and has finally gotten over the hump of beating Emily to retain her title.
And that's a holy shit moment for her. 3 consecutive finishes on a Jade Gatlin. She's not worried about Emily Everett. She is shaking off that particular monkey on her back. and is focused on just winning the title. And oh boy, did she win the title. That's a nice boost for the Women's Lightweight Championship. And we will have to see, how does Emily Everett bounce back? How does she handle taking a loss in such a big spot? But we move on now to the Men's Lightweight Championship. A fatal four-way special referee match with Krieger as our referee here. I mean, Xander, what happened that led to this match?
Yeah, so listen, this match is it is really the big kind of almost culmination of Phil Hangtime and Deputy Newland. Deputy Newland, of course, being the one that got a win in his most recent match. He's pushing Phil, and that's suddenly, they know that show is coming here, but right before this match was ready to roll out, Executioner Goro, who just lost a belt, who is sitting barely at that 1,000 popularity, fuming that he, as the leader of Burn It All Down, is not holding on to a title, says it's time. It's time for me to demonstrate that I am here to burn it all down. And if I am going to lose my title, then Conquest or Death is going to lose a title. A Hang Time will lose a title. And Executioner Goro steps out, pushes Show aside, and says, stay out of my way or I'll burn you down too.
I mean, it's got to be hard, right? If you're Executioner Goro or Phil Hangtime, you see Krieger go to the stage with Sho Fujino and then say, by the way, I'm going to be an unbiased referee. Don't worry about it. That's quite a thing to overcome. Walter, given the quality we see here, who do you think's taking this home?
See, here's the crazy thing. The obvious answer would be Show, right? It would be absolutely obvious. But I think Phil Hangtime is going to squeak out the victory here. I think Goro and Show are going to take each other out as they've already sort of disrupted each other. And Krieger is going to have but no choice but to count the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 for Phil Hangtime.
See, I appreciate that mentality. But this pay-per-view is called Burn It All Down. Xander, does the leader of Burn It All Down win their match at Burn It All Down?
So don't forget that while Show and Krieger are out there together, they are beholden to their leader. All right? And when the opportunity arises for Executioner to execute Phil Hangtime's run here as the lightweight champion, they have no choice but to get out of his way. And Executioner is going to take the belt.
He sure is. And look at that. 5 3/4 star. Another great match on this card. Obviously, Phil Hangtime taking quite the morale hit. He had successfully defended this title 7 times, but luckily not so much of a popularity hit that he loses his streak as he moves forward. Executioner Goro needed a win in this match in order to keep his chance to be a face of the company forward. This also starts a feud between Phil Hangtime and Executioner Goro because Phil is not satisfied with his loss here. He believes that title, there were some shenanigans with Burn It All Down, with Krieger as the referee here, and I expect that match to come back again sooner rather than later. But look at that holy shit moment. Executioner Goro getting Deputy Newland through the announce table. That's 30 creativity points. That's a nice hangover for the Men's Lightweight Championship. And quite the match there.
Yeah, listen, that belt, entirely thanks to Phil Hangtime, is a silver belt. It is essentially Executioner Goro trading one silver belt for another. And this was Burn It All Down. This is what it was about. And if anyone was going to be able to stop Phil Hangtime's run, who's only exceeded in terms of victories by his eldest brother, Johnny, it had to be Executioner Goro. There was no one else to do it. And now Phil's got to figure out what that means. That being said, we're on to the cruiserweight. Azaki Cordova, the new champion, up against Serpentine Suprema. Vince Rivera with Krieger. Vince, of course, being the one who lost the Return to Glory belt not too long ago, but did push himself almost 250 popularity up before doing so, made himself a force to be reckoned with, and he's here saying, hey, it's my time, Izaki. I know you just got this belt. I don't care. I want this thing, and it's up to you and me to throw down. Meanwhile, Jay and Serpentine, a guy who was on a crazy run that only recently has kind of stalled out, wants to remind folks that not only is he here, but, he is essentially the highest end of what Band of Brigands were. And he has a big future going forward. And then, like Jay Avalon, just a super talented wrestler who thinks it's his opportunity. He doesn't think Izaki's going to be the guy to hold on to the belt. He thinks that if he comes out and has a big enough match, he can take it off him and the fans will love him for it.
See, Xander, that's the thing, though, about Serpentine Suprema. You said was. You said were. They aren't around anymore. It doesn't matter what you did. What can you do for me now? He's not over with the fan base. He may be a main eventer, but he's not over yet. He's not at the same level as these other three guys. He may be the popularity, but he's not the overness. Jay Avalon, on the other hand, he's got the overness, but he doesn't have the popularity. And Vince Rivera, while I do love a heel just absolutely destroying a baby face when they're at their high point, I think this is the highest Izaki Cordova could go. I think Avalon and Suprema being in the match do cause some concerns, and this isn't just a one-on-one assassination for Vince Rivera. Cordova is going to barely escape, but Rivera might be lurking there at the next pay-per-view.
I tend to agree. Look, I love Jay Avalon. I hate to see him go 0-8. It personally breaks my goddamn heart. But at the end of the day, I don't think you're taking the title off of Izaki so quickly. He only has one win under his belt, and it was taking the title. And for the silver belt, taking it off of him so quickly would be a big risk. Does Izaki maintain, Xander?
You guys are right. Izaki maintains, but please do not count Vince out. Vince will be back, and Vince will be back with a vengeance.
Another 5 3/4 star. Look at that. 4 matches in a row of 5 3/4, and then a 5.5 beyond that. I mean, you have gotten better and better as the card has gone on. And I mean, look, if Eduardo's watching the VOD from start to finish, he has to be feeling a little bit nervous right now as you keep putting on
good
high-tier matches. I mean, look, does it lead to a holy shit moment? It sure fucking does, because Izaki Cordova kicks out of Serpentine Suprema's finisher in order to get, using his body to get up and has to be finished off. Getting that holy shit moment, your 5th of the night. It's a nice boost for the Men's Cruiserweight Championship. I think that was necessary. And it starts a feud between Vince Rivera and Izaki Cordova that I think fans are going to be very excited to see. Obviously, Jay Avalon, it hurts to lose 8 matches in a row. He's going to need some love at some point. And Vince Rivera obviously doesn't like to take the popularity hit, but there's some good psychology here. The fans are very intrigued to see what Izaki versus Vince has to offer moving forward. And for that alone, I think you should be feeling great about this match.
I'm feeling good about it.
But you asked before, who do you have? Emu or Ume? It is Ume here, who is the women's heavyweight champion in this fatal 4-way between Heike Imoto, Hinata Shiroki, and Anastasia. How did this match come together, Xander?
Yeah, so listen, these are our most talented women that aren't named Emily Evett and Korosaru right now, and Jade Gatlin, right? And Ume being the one that just took the belt off of Emily is finding her newfound status as essentially a face of the company, in the face of the company position. She's up against Heike Imoto, another person who has been pushing for face of the company, and just recently, lost her lightweight title and has been trying to find her footing. So you've got another wrestler trying to find her footing here, but thinks that she can take it off of Ume. Hanada, meanwhile, also someone that has been on a losing streak, but is super talented, 4'4", young, and then Anastasia, being the heel in this lineup, again, took losses to Emily, took losses to Hanada, took losses to Heike, but has gotten, but was someone that started off with a very big win, hasn't been able to get it since. However, that's because she's constantly on cards like these, where she is up against the most talented wrestlers in the promotion. So, everything that she's been a part of is hot. And I will say she is probably the least likely one to win tonight, but don't count her out completely only because of the performances she puts on.
Look, you see a lot of 4-star workers in this card, a lot of very talented performers, but I mean, I don't want to speak for you, Walter, but to me, there are 2 contenders who are currently on the range to being face of the company, and it feels like a belt as prestigious as the Women's Heavyweight Championship probably goes in one of those 2 directions. Who do you think takes the title?
I think you keep it on Ume here. She is, already above 1,000. You could get her started on working on that face of the company here, not in the not too distant future. I think here you have to kind of pray that Emoto can survive. She has lost twice in a row, meaning that Emiko has beaten her since she took over the belt in the last 2 matches. And again, Anastasia, Hanada, they're solid main eventers, but they aren't anywhere close enough to really put that sort of dedication in to try and get them up into face of the company kind of standing.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think Ume is here to win. I think you want to start that journey to have her be face of the company, and I think you're hoping that Heike does well enough that it doesn't hurt her to lose this match. Are we right, Xander?
You guys are right. Ume is going to be the one that takes it, and it's a great match, so we're happy with it.
Another 5 3/4 star match, a morale boost for everybody, a overness boost for Hanada, not that she really needed it. We call that a hot match. Only your second hot match third hot match of the night, excuse me. But Anastasia getting the gimmick over a little bit. A nice feud started between Heike and Ume starting that journey to being face of the company. It's a nice win here, and the Women's Heavyweight Championship will be working its way towards that platinum status. It's got a long way to go. None of our belts are that close to that yet, but it's a nice win here tonight, and certainly Ume's got to be feeling pretty good about the growth that she has made.
Indeed.
Yeah. And Eduardo's staring at all these 5 3/4 stars matches, wondering what this means for him. But we have 2 matches left to go. You got to stick the landing. And oh boy, we have a men's heavyweight championship coming up next. Tell us how this 4-way match came together.
Yeah, so just very bluntly, Alex Jim and Eric Hangtime. They have been throwing down recently. Alex Jim and Kai Galvana have been throwing down recently. And Alexandre Kennedy, a guy who really was more so competing for the cruiserweight belts, finds himself in the thick of these extremely high-end, talented wrestlers wrestling for the heavyweight match. Okay? Now, there are 3 favorites here, but Alexandre is hoping that he can find an angle, find an in, squeak out one of the most insane surprise victories of anyone's career here in the promotion. That being said, Alex Jim is not looking to leave any room for anyone here to take his title, whether it be a Hang Time or whether it be Kai Galvana. Alex Jim wants to leave no room for error. He is propelling himself as the one guy right now that can beat Johnny Hang Time, and he wants to make sure that that happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, Eric did very well as a tag performer, has struggled in singles matches, but both he and Kai Galvana want to prove that they are faces of the company, that they are worthy of that title, while Alex Jim continues to build himself up. Walter, with a star-studded lineup like this, who do you think ultimately takes it home?
Here's the thing. I think after winning 7 matches in a row, it's finally time for Alex Jim to give up the belt. He's got enough popularity that he can withstand a little bit of a hit here. The question is, do we put it on Kai Galvana or do we put it on Eric Hangtime? And I'm going to say, put it on Eric Hangtime, because I think there's a lot more to this sort of Hangtime dynasty stuff that's been going on. And getting a belt onto a different Hangtime now that Phil has lost could make for a much more interesting story.
That is a very interesting theory. I do look, if the Hangtime Supremacy feud is happening, at some point, Eric Hangtime has to see himself as a true contender. It is very much in play. But, Xander, I do believe that you have Alex Jim retaining here. Is that correct?
It is correct. Alex Jim retains.
Alex Jim continuing to be built up. And look at that, another 5 3/4 star match. You keep the streak alive. I mean, what a fucking card. How many matches has it been? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Oh my God, Eduardo, this is heartbreaking. As someone who was rooting for you, we were all rooting for you, Eduardo. But I mean, with a card like this, it is hard to show up and stay shown up on this one. I mean, look, Kai Galvana, Eric Hangtime, they take minor overness penalties. Who gives a shit? The important thing is Eric Hangtime, Kai Galvana still in face of the company status, and Alex Jim just pushing himself more and more and more. It is a blow-off between him and Eric Hangtime. He is done battling Eric Hangtime for this title. You know,
I will say that to your credit, that is to your credit, Walter. The key there was that it was a blow off between him and Eric.
Gotcha.
The Alex Jim has to win this because don't forget he is also essentially the faction leader of For the People, and there are everyone there from Not For the People trying to take that belt from him. He has to retain it right now because he has to be the one to cleanly transition to taking it off of Johnny. He doesn't have the opportunity to lose a belt and come back easily, okay? Given the position of For the People right now as essentially the third faction, after being the second strongest faction, getting pushed by Burn It All Down, he has to maintain his position for his people. If he doesn't do that, then he puts a lot more folks at risk. And because he is the face of this company, and I mean that literally, because he is the face within this company at that level, he is not the kind of guy to risk it all for his own glory. He makes sure his folks are taken care of first.
I mean, it's an incredible match, an incredible result. Alex Jim continues to prove that he is a man to be reckoned with within this company. But of course, we come to the Emperor's Belt, and we see here, I only point it out for the folks at home who are interested in the mechanics of it all, even though the end of the Empire feud was blown off, it is contributing to the hype here of each of these matches as we've gone forward, and it has led to a huge hype bonus for this event. All of these matches have benefited, I think, one way or another from the way that this end of the Empire feud has really paid off. But this is a Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match for the Emperor's Belt. Xander, how did this match come together?
Yeah, so listen, you've got Johnny Hangtime and Alexis Kovac, okay? Alexis Kovac is the one guy not named Alex Jim that has actually been able to get into these matches and contest Johnny, okay, as the only other face, essentially, that able to show up for the people and represent folks that are not Conquest or Death and Burn It All Down, okay? You have Elliot trying to take the title off his brother, fuming at the events that unfolded, causing him to lose his tag team belt with his brother, right? And these are in the same faction, but that rift is getting wider and deeper. And now you see Johnny saying, hey, show up, come here, put yourself next to Alexis and put yourself next to Black Bull, all right? Black Bull being the guy from Burn It All Down that despite having only 2 charisma, he is a workhorse, all right? This guy has shown up and put on big matches, literal workhorse, yes, has shown up and put on big matches and is the representative for Burn It All Down here, okay? Executioner Goro had a strong feeling he wasn't taking the title off of Johnny tonight, all right? Executioner Goro sent the next best guy he had available, and that was Black Bull, so that he could lower down the card, strip Phil of his belt, and still hit Johnny where it hurts, okay? Because don't forget, Phil and Johnny, they are a tag. They are the 2 brothers that get along. Elliot and Eric are the other 2. So Executioner Goro using his tactics tonight to hit Johnny where it mattered most. Burn It All Down wins that feud. And Johnny, at the top of this card, is furious. He's fuming. He wants to cement and remind everybody why he is Emperor. He wants to put his brother in his place. He wants to put Black Bull and Burn It All Down in their place. And he wants to remind For the People that, hey, we won our feud. And Alexis, you aren't Alex Jim. You don't belong here with me. And I'm going to remind everybody that tonight is my night and I'm still on top.
I mean, Walter, you hear the case for such a talented group of wrestlers. I mean, who do you think takes it home tonight?
Nah, fuck off, Johnny Hangtime.
Yeah, I mean, for sure it's Johnny Hangtime.
It's Johnny Hangtime, guys.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's Johnny Hangtime.
Johnny Hangtime, 11, 12. Now, here's the thing. That's a 6.5-star match to end
Jesus
the night.
Christ.
Oh my God, Eduardo's gonna be furious. Because I think that gets you there. I mean, the smooth performance
We'll have to see.
and the blood boost, that's a popularity boost for everybody involved. That's an overness boost for almost everybody involved. That is a only monster feud between Elliot and Black Bull going hot. It's a hot match. It adds even more hype. The Alexis Kovac and Elliot Hangtime feud blows off at 5 3/4 stars. No holy shit moment, but you have leveled up your Iron Man and you've unlocked something called a Brawl and Casket match. I have no idea.
I don't know what
these
that is,
are.
but I can't wait to find out.
Brawl and casket matches. I think that's two separate matches.
Yes, Brawl and Casket matches. He's right. So I have unlocked Brawl and Casket matches.
I don't know that everyone has access to all of those, but the game loves you, and so that's where we're at. I mean, what a way to end this card. I mean, is this a 5.75 star card? Is this the first 5.75 star card in the history of this
Let's find out.
competition? Yes, it fucking is.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. And with that, we don't even need to see the points. That's a point for Xander. And Xander, you and I officially tied
Let's
in the overall
go.
standings.
Let's go.
Now, clinging to the little hope I have when we hear back from the developer, there may be some rescoring that needs to be done. There may be some changes that need to happen. But for now, the ball lies where it lies. And I don't think anything that could happen is going to change the fact that you won the night. I mean, the sheer volume of 5 3/4 star matches followed by a 6.5 star match to end the evening. I mean, you rode that end of the Empire feud to the world and back, and it did not matter that it got blown off in the first match because every match after it still benefited from the sheer hype.
Can you imagine it hadn't, though? Can you imagine it hadn't?
Man, I mean, what are you gonna do?
The min-maxer in me is salivating at the possibilities.
I mean, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna gain 71,000 fans, and all of them came from Walter. And
Sorry,
meanwhile, I
Walter.
gave 13.5 thousand fans to Eduardo. So that's how this goes. I don't know what to fucking say. I don't know what to say. I think the game was cruel to Walter. I'm honestly fine with my 5 1/4 star. I did not spend a ton on this match. I knew that this was coming. I feel a little bit for Eduardo, who 5.5 star in any other weekly. In any other weekly, it would have mattered. But you were not to be topped this week, my friend. And I mean, there you go. Man, oh man, what a fucking match. I don't know why all of the details from the Wrestling Spectator are about my company. I kind of feel like we're not the main story here. What is... Okay, yeah, no, this makes no sense, because it's like, man, is Arsenica going to join Magically Enhanced Wrestling? What the... Yeah, man. Yes, they are. But here's the thing. We're not done with tonight. Because the Grand Invitational is still on the card for tonight. We know who Eduardo's sending. We know at least a bit of who Walter is sending. But before we get into it, we are going to take another quick break. We will be back in about 5 minutes to see who can get the point for winning the Grand Invitational, given that it is entirely simulated. We have no say in what the game has in store for us. RNGesus will be taking the wheel here very shortly, but we will be back in a few minutes to see that happen. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, because this is not just a pay-per-view feud. It is the Grand Invitational. There are a whole bunch of questions you can ask, and I'm going to just ask all of them from Eduardo's account because he is the one that has to go first. Which superstars are competing? Well, that's a secret. They can't be revealed until everyone makes their picks and the bracket is created. But just because we're friends, I don't think any of these are true. I have no idea who these people are. Maybe there are some indie people in this competition. Who can say? How is the bracket made? It's seeded based on popularity. Companies are kept apart, so that the top two companies should face each other in the final. Winners. The Grand Invitational's booking committee picks the winners. Oh boy. So you can bribe. I'm going to make a rule that says that none of us can bribe the official. Because, well, hold on. The reason I'm saying that is because Eduardo's not here to tell me if he would bribe the official or not.
That's fair.
And I think that would be really fucking mean.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I also think we should just not bribe him for this. I think this should be because
Okay.
it's pure simulation.
Eduardo gets 3 people. So, here we go. His 3 people are Isamo Masucci. It is Hey Lee. And it is Conrad Supernova. Those are the top 3 in order that he said. We are locking those in. He has gotten the fee. We all get money for participating in this.
Money, 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 money.
Okay. He is ready. Okay.
Wait.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So other companies have to do it first.
Okay. So, Xander,
Yep.
you'd like to select your entries. You get 3.
All
Who are you
right.
selecting?
It's Johnny Hangtime.
Yep. Who else?
It's Alex Jim.
Uh-huh.
And it's Ume Amiko.
Okay. Those are locked in. You have gotten your money. Balter. You're selecting your entries. You have 3. Who are your 3?
All right. Give me Empress Kabuki.
Uh-huh.
Give me Christopher Devlin.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Give me a second here. Give me... Green General Workhorse Risk Taker. Okay, where's your guy? Green General
I'm kind of
Workhorse Risk
surprised that it's not somebody who I kind of assumed would be there.
Give
Why aren't you
me...
picking Chase?
That wasn't who I was
Because
assuming.
Because I just fucking brutalized him. Give me Tyler Dynamite.
Tyler Dynamite. Locked in. Confirmed?
Confirmed.
Okay. You got your fee. I will go. I'm ready. Okay. I get 3 entries. I'm going to send 3 faction leaders here. I'm sending Omuerte Blanco.
Oh shit.
I'm sending Ariana Black.
Okay.
And I am sending Lorena Lucia.
Okay.
That's my 3. Okay. I'm ready. Let's start.
All right, let's see it.
Quite an interesting bracket. Let's go on to the event. Fans have been dreaming about this since it was announced. Talent from the Campeonato de Luchasaur, Magically Enhanced Wrestling, Stanford Wrestling Alliance, Glory of Legends, and the Indies all competing tonight. Saito Seiji, Big Takashima, Connor Sakurai, all coming in from the Indies.
JC
JC Quinn. So it is 3 members of each of our companies and 4 random indie people. And we've got quite some matches to begin. Mr. Oliver standing in the ring welcomes the fans, promises an amazing show. And it starts with Johnny Hangtime versus JC Quinn.
696 popularity.
If Johnny loses, there's a murder that's gonna be committed. Yeah.
Johnny
Okay.
wins. Well done.
5 1/4.
Haley versus Christopher Devlin.
Oh my God, no.
Here
no,
we go.
No.
What a match. If Christopher Devlin drops here. Oh man, Eduardo wants revenge for losing
Come on.
that 5.5 star.
Come on, Devlin. Come on, Devlin. Come on, Devlin. Come on, Devlin. Come on, Devlin.
Haley!
No, it's almost a 6-star match. No. Oh my God, no.
Empress Kabuki versus Conrad Supernova. The Walter versus Eduardo matches remain.
Oh boy.
Who
Oh
we
boy.
have here?
Oh, we can see it. Wait, let's see the. Yeah.
So Johnny was number 1, of course.
Yep.
JC Quinn of the 16. Haley Christopher Devlin was the 8 versus 9 seed. I have to imagine Devlin not happy about being the 9 seed. I can't imagine
Yeah.
he was thrilled by that. Empress Kabuki at the 4, Conrad Supernova at 13.
Conrad wins!
Oh my God, interesting story boost as well. Empress Kabuki with a -3 overdose. I didn't realize you could take overdose hits at this. Oh, I mean, Haley on her way to becoming face in the company as a result of her win, by the way. You helped propel Haley into face in the company status. Now, Lorena Lucer's number 12.
Oh, I've got to wrestle myself. Damn, unlucky.
Come on, Lorena. Thank you very much. I was not here to lose to Saito Seiji, whoever the fuck that is. Oh, here we go.
Oh
Ume
man.
Miko versus Alex Jim.
The
This is
Xander versus Xander
Xander
promotion.
versus Xander. You had a Xander versus Xander match.
Yeah,
All 3
unlucky.
of my matches were against indies. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
lucky you, unlucky me. All right. Well, let's see who wins. Alex Jim. Okay,
Jim takes
that's the
match.
outcome I would have preferred. So.
Okay. Tyler Dynamite versus Isamo Masucci. The one I don't think anyone saw Tyler Dynamite coming. Isamo Masucci, the best wrestler to not have a title, I think, across most of our promotions, if not all of them.
Emily is the only one that's better.
Emily's the only one. That's
But she
better.
just lost. She just lost it, so we don't even need to count it.
Look,
necessarily.
Tyler Dynamite, huge popularity boost by just being here.
Yeah.
Isamo
Yeah.
Masucci takes the win. It is Ariana Black versus Big Takashima. For the love of God. Thank you. And then Connor Sakurai versus Omuerte Blanco. For the love of God. Thank you.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, and here we go. Some holy shit moments. Alex Jim hitting Ume and Mikio gave them both a boost. And then Omuerte
Okay.
Blanco. Now, none of this led to any creativity points. It just gave a little bit of an overness boost. Not that any of us needed it.
Well, their promotion probably got it. The whatever who's running this tournament, they got our creativity points, guys. We got to get it back from them.
Yeah, I mean, they paid us to be here, so it's okay.
Okay, fair.
Getting close to crowning the winner. Let's continue the event. I agree. We're in the round of 8,
boy.
night 2. Okay.
Johnny versus Haley.
versus
Come on,
Johnny
Johnny. Come on,
Hangtime.
Johnny. Come on, Johnny.
Survey says Haley!
Oh my God.
Johnny Hangtime falls! For the first time in his career, the Man of Gold takes an L in favor of the lunatic from Campeonato de Luchasaur, who is on her way.
That's Eduardo getting revenge for the card. There you go. He's got it.
I mean, you gotta be feeling good if you're Eduardo. Like, it's not the same as getting a point so far, but he's got 2 contenders left, and that's got actually 3 contenders left. All of his people won in the opening round. It's Lorena Lucia versus Conrad Supernova. And look, I appreciate you, Eduardo, but I'm not willing to let Conrad become a face of the company right now. There it is.
Yep.
But he is on his way. He's still got enough popularity. I'm fine with that. Good job, Lorena. Well fucking done. Get Conrad over. Good for you, Eduardo. Oh my God. This is so stressful. Isamos Masucci versus Alex Jim.
Alex, you better fucking win this, bro.
This is your last competitor, Xander.
God damn it.
And he's
All right.
gone. Someone other than Xander is going to win a point tonight. But I have to have two of my wrestlers go against each other. This is gonna hurt. I hate to see either of these come short. But Ariana Black, I mean, look, El Muerte Blanco needed the morale. I'm not gonna be mad that he gets a massive morale boost from this. A hot match that boosts both of their overness. I'm okay with that. But we go to semifinals. Look at the fatigue. I mean, that's one of those things you did not plan for heading in. But even though these are
I hope they don't get injured.
matches, yeah, God, an injury at this tournament would be a lot. They are going to need a break after this. But it's Lorena Lucier versus Haley. It is just me versus Eduardo Luchasaur left.
Yep.
Haley moves on.
Haley wins. All right. This is the final Eduardo chase determines. This could determine who gets the point right here.
El Muerte going to the finals.
Okay.
El Muerte Blanco.
What's the? Oh my God, dude! Haley is exhausted.
But she's 103% over, which I didn't think
How?
she would be.
How? Wait, what?
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Was El Muerte Blanco? Was he not already 100% over?
He was.
So how does she 103%?
I don't know what to tell you. What I know is we're gonna hit this button, and whoever wins this match is getting a point in our competition.
And it's Haley.
Hey, fucking Lee.
Eduardo gets a point.
Well done. That takes you to 2 points overall on our competition.
Someone get the stretcher for Haley though. Carry her off the mat.
El Muerte Blanco. I mean, what a series of matches. Haley spat in his face, hit the lariat. I mean, the 8 seed of this tournament taking the W. And there you fucking go. The fireworks go off. There is a very special segment that Eduardo has access to because he won tonight. It's a huge morale.
Congrats, Eduardo.
A huge opportunity to boost her. And that's a show. And with that, I believe our stream comes to an end as well. Congratulations to Eduardo for winning the Grand Invitational. I mean, what a competition! I'm proud of El Muerte. I think Walter, you had an unfortunate first round, but I think a lot of fun matches here tonight. And thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you to everyone who watched this stream. If you liked it, leave a comment, leave a like, tell us what you want to see. We keep doing these weeklies on the YouTube channel. If you're seeing this, you're probably seeing it on YouTube. I've seen at least a few views every time we put out an episode like this. So appreciate everybody giving it a watch. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Let's do our plugs here. Xander, where can the nice people at home find you?
Yes, once again, happy to win. You guys can find me on all socials at Tentacle Coach. I'm a League of Legends coach if that's what you're looking for. And of course, please, we're starting the new semester. We're starting it hot. Valorant League of Legends teams already won at CUNY BC Esports. That's CUNY BC Esports, Brooklyn College on top.
Incredible. Walter, where can the nice people at home find you?
You guys can find me at C80s_LOL on Twitter, at C80s.bsky.social, and go root for Brooklyn College. Xander does a hell of a job with them, and they deserve your support.
Amen.
Appreciate you, Walter.
I'm at Chase Wassenaar on the artist formerly known as Twitter. I'm chasewassenaar.bsky.social on the better Twitter. And of course, you should absolutely root for Brooklyn College, but you should also watch the Rough Drafts podcast, or listen to it, I should say, because we do some fun stuff. Final Cut coming soon is our episode on the Iron Claw. I teased it a little bit too early last time around, but it is coming soon. If you enjoy wrestling and want to hear Walter and I talk about a wrestling film that is worth the discussion point, definitely stay tuned to our Rough Drafts podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Anchor, anywhere you get your podcasts, really. But thank you so much for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks as we get to our second gold pay-per-view of this competition. But until then, goodbye, Internet.